anyone any inkling of hope that she made the right hires. And if you talk to people around town, the organization is just, it's not running. It's rudderless.
Yeah.
It's just, and that maybe some of that's on Paul with how his
How he
succession plan.
Yeah.
Some of that's on Jody, but it really does fall back on their feet too.
Sure.
And like I said, I don't think she
Yeah.
does herself any favors with.
You know,
I mean, she does no media at all.
No.
Like she just won't talk.
Well,
It's like,
remember-
how cool do you think you are?
Don't let anyone fool you. Remember we looked it up. Was she getting paid? What was her salary? It was like it's like 140 mil a year was her salary for running this estate. Dude, if you were making that, you wouldn't be in any rush to sell anything either. I love how people make it out like they're like it's like, oh, it's gonna take so long and it's so intricate to unwind. Sure, but at the same time, you're just sitting on this collecting hundreds of millions of dollars. Yeah, if I was doing that, it would take me a long time to like, I get some of his businesses take a long time to unwind. It does not take a long time to sell a sports team. It really doesn't.
No.
You don't have to unwind the Blazers and the Seahawks. You can sell them. But you don't want to sell them because the longer you wait, the more money it is for you.
Here's the other thing that hurts Jody a lot. I can't believe this hasn't been mentioned yet. She is an aloof bitch who will not sell to the coolest and baddest sportsman of all time, who is right here in our own backyard, who wants to buy the Blazers.
That's true.
That pisses everyone off.
Yes.
Because Phil Knight, he has offered, I think he offered, didn't he offer?
Yeah.
$2 billion
Yes.
for the Blazers?
Yeah.
And she gave him she won't even return his calls,
No.
you freaking bitch. What is up with that?
Let's see if we can get Jody on there.
Well, I know she's not coming on, so
send her that clip.
I mean, it's just ridiculous. Come on, man. So you don't care a lick.
No.
You just cashing your checks.
Yes, she is. And
Good
they're,
luck with that.
And they're big ones at that.
Well, you ain't fooling this Blazer fan. Wait, I'm not a Blazer fan, but
not.
you know what I mean. So that is the poll question from yesterday. Who would you least want as your team owner? Jody Allen, 65%. Clearly. Damn it! Jerry Jones, 17%.
You are a fan. That was Summer League.
Yeah, that's how I reacted to a Summer League loss.
Yeah.
So maybe I am a fan.
You love the remix, too. Don't forget about that.
Matt Ishbia, 9%, and Merritt Paulson, catching very few strays here, only
Yeah.
9%.
See, he did the best thing he could was to just shut up.
Yeah, he's just kind of slumped down.
He sold
and the one interview that he did,
Yeah.
didn't make him look that great.
Yeah,
So he's slunked back into his cubby again.
sold the thorns and then quietly just ducked down and was like, I'm a hunker in here. I'm going to sell the one team that's worth a few bucks and keep the one worth a bill. Just shut up and let it die down.
But Jerry, how about Jerry coming in second there?
Yeah.
A lot of people don't like
No.
they don't like what Jerry Jones is bringing to the table. The old crypt keeper with his scribbles.
Yeah. You know what? Jerry's the most successful as far as value goes in sports. So he's doing something right.
And today's poll question is up there now on X at 1080 The Fan. Which do you think you would watch more of if they were on TV at the same time? All are good matchups. You have an NFL game, college football playoff game, Blazers game, or slap fighting. Vote and vote hard.
Come on.
Hello?
Yeah.
Are you going to vote?
Oh, you want me to vote
Well, yeah.
right now?
Yes.
I thought we were
You always vote.
Well, I thought we were going to
You're
break.
the big sports guy. You got to vote.
Sounded like we were kind of going to, you were tossing that to break. And Buck's been telling us to break for God knows how long.
Who cares what he says?
Well, I try to care. Buck, I want you to know
Don't.
that I care.
Let's be great, man.
Thank
Let's
you.
be great. Let's be great.
I know.
Let's be great.
Let's be great,
Let's
baby.
be great. Come on. Let's be great.
We know the
Let's
answer
be
to
great.
that.
College football? Slap fighting?
The three letters that win every single time.
NFL.
NFL.
All right, vote hard. Coming up next, the Big Ten now owns the 12:30 slot on CBS. It is 3:40. Here's Buck.
This is a DG
the Blazers, he's not a young guy.
No.
Um,
But it wasn't just Phil. It was that Dodgers bro,
yeah,
too.
that's true.
So Phil was just there kind of
You're
almost
right.
as the,
You're right.
he was a figurehead, and then the
Well,
Dodger
but he's
guy.
the big money guy, though.
The Dodger guy's worth billions, too.
Oh, is he a billionaire?
Yeah, he's a rich guy, too.
Oh.
So it was the idea that, yeah, Phil, but ultimately the other guy was going to be the main guy, and Phil was doing it out of like civil, or what do you, like a duty sort of thing. Rescue the Blazers.
Well, I just wondered who, if he croaked, like, obviously this guy would take over,
Yes.
controlling the team. But I just wondered if like maybe Phil's kids were next in line, and then I mean, I don't know much about his kids, and obviously Matthew died tragically, but
Yeah.
Chili T's out there.
I'm looking because it's Alan Smolinski was the other bro.
Do you know who Chili T is?
Chili T?
Yeah.
No, should I know Chili T?
Yes.
Who's Chili T?
That's Travis Knight's rap name. It is.
What?
He was a
Nice.
rapper.
Are you serious?
Did you know that, Buck?
I did not.
Oh my god.
Couldn't tell you.
Is
Isn't
this
the Tom Hanks kid a rapper as well?
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah, Travis Knight. Phil's kid, one of his 3 kids. He was a rapper for a time. Called himself Chili T. I don't know what he does now.
That's
and then there's a
rough.
girl named Christina, but he doesn't.
No, you don't hear him.
You never hear anything about her.
No.
And apparently he didn't say anything about her in his book. So
I don't know.
weird situation.
Well, Phil buys it, then it ensures that it's not going anywhere. It would be to make sure they stay in Portland forever. And then my guess is the Smolinski guy.
What's his name?
Alan
Smolinski?
Smolinski?
Where's he from?
Where's
he going to move the team to?
Well, I think that was the idea, is that he was part of this under the Phil doing this so that the team goes nowhere.
He's a Coug.
He's a Coug?
Apparently.
It says right here, Southern California alma mater.
Oh, maybe that's a different Alan Smolinski.
Yeah.
That's what I get for looking at LinkedIn.
Yeah. So, yeah, he's a minority owner of the Dodgers. Apparently went to USC, but it was him and Phil that were going to be involved. Like you said, Phil being the major backer, the money. I'm guessing Smolinski runs the day-to-day stuff. And then when Phil dies, there's an agreement. I mean, that was the whole point of Phil making sure that the Blazers stay in Portland forever. And more importantly, you get to have, the city of Portland would go crazy knowing that Phil, a local, owned the Blazers. Because, as great as Paul Allen was, and I think Paul Allen was really good for the city. I don't think we have the Blazers without him. We weren't building that arena. Just, can we all agree with that? Public money was not building that. And how many owners, especially back then, were building arenas by themselves? If it wasn't for Paul Allen, I don't think the Blazers are here. So you should thank your lucky stars that Paul was an owner for as long as he was here, and he cared, and it mattered. So that is great. But having Phil come in, and because the thing that was the negative with Paul is he was never a Portland guy. He was Seattle, and everyone knew that. He was a Seattle guy. And so he
didn't do a lot to
ingratiate himself to the
he didn't
community.
like Portland.
But with Phil, that's the slam dunk. It's the slam dunk.
It's our
of
guy.
Slam dunks, but
And by the way, his name is not Alan Smolinski.
it's not.
No, it's Alan Smoleniski,
Oh,
which is why I was
Smolinski.
struggling with my Google search.
oh, okay.
But now I'm onto him,
There you go.
and he's, he's in. Where's he from? He's an immigrant.
He was born in Los Angeles.
His parents are immigrants.
Probably,
I'm doing great today.
but he's from Los Angeles. He was raised in the Pacific Palisades by immigrant parents from
Aha! Ha ha!
Argentina.
Yep, told you. He's Argentinian. Well, he can own the Blazers. He's probably better than Jody. All right, up next, let's get back on track. The Big Ten has announced. It's kind of weird. They announced 2 start times.
Yeah,
2. And one of them's kind of dumb.
a slow rollout.
That's just dumb.
Yeah.
So we'll get to that next. It is 3:51 on the Fan.
Another
Yeah, Travis Knight, Phil's kid, animator, producer, director, actor, and former rapper named Chili T. Apparently, he's down in Hollywood making awesome movies.
Do you think Chili T and
He's 50.
what's Chet? Chet Hanks went by God, what did he go by? Chet. I'm trying to remember what the hell his name was. Because he had a
Well,
rap.
his song was called White Boy Summer.
Gosh. So which is worse, Chili T or Chet Hanks?
I'm going to go Chili T.
Chili T.
Because isn't Chet Hanks his name?
Yeah, but he doesn't.
He went by Chet Hanks with an X
Oh,
instead
that's
of
what
NK.
Oh, so that's what he did.
H-N-H-A-N-X, Chet Hanks.
Oh, I see. I thought he. Oh, no. He went by Chet Hayes.
Chet Hayes?
Yeah, I was gonna say
I'm seeing Chet Hanks with an X here.
No, he had a. I was gonna say he had a. He had like a persona. Yeah, Chet Hayes.
Oh, there's another thing. Yeah, Reddit is saying Chet Hayes. Okay.
So you have Chili T and Chet Hayes, and remember, I don't know what Chili T's deal is, but Chet Hayes, he identified as black because he was from the streets, even though he was Tom Hanks's kid. Because remember, there was a mentality.
Oh boy.
It was about feeling it, and he felt like he was an African American from the streets, even though he was raised by a very, very rich, very, very white actor in Beverly Hills.
Yeah, I'm not touching that. But I couldn't. I mean, I just looked at a picture of Travis Knight for the first time. I didn't know that. I couldn't pick him out of the lineup.
No, I couldn't.
You just don't hear a lot about the Knight kids.
I could. Well, when I think Travis Knight, I think of the basketball player.
Yeah, the Pips.
Yeah, Travis Knight and the Pips.
All right. Can we get to something of some substance,
Not
please?
really.
Heaven's sakes.
By the way, Travis,
show.
that Travis Knight Chili T boy looks way different than I would have thought.
You never saw him?
No.
You never know what he looked like?
No, he's he's a good looking guy.
Yeah.
Boy, I'd like to see Chili T and Chet Hayes get together on a collab. See what we can do. Think he's embarrassed now about the Chili T days?
Yes.
He probably should be.
But we all have regrettable
Hey,
phases.
I wore Bugle Boy jeans.
I went to college with a redhead who was a white rapper, or thought he was, and he went by the name The Ginger Critter.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Rapped about Portland and LaMarcus Aldridge.
Yeah, I'm trying to find... there's very few photos of Christina Knight out there as well. Like, the very mysterious family.
Well, I appreciate that because when you're worth that much money, you don't have to. I love that you don't have to be in the just be rich and, be behind the scenes.
That's true. Like, I mean, I guess we don't really need to know what she's doing. She may be doing nothing.
Yeah.
She's rich. But
What else would you like? If you were rich, would you want to be a well-known,
Well,
person out and about?
I mean, we've talked about this.
Yeah.
We interviewed Buffett's son, and we've talked to enough people that I think some of them want to carve out their own path.
Yeah.
Albeit with a nice, tasty little golden parachute, but makes it a little easier.
Yeah, she's on Twitter and stuff. Christina
Is
Knight.
she?
Yeah.
Is that her though?
I would assume so. In the bio, it does talk about her dad being Phil Knight.
Okay.
So I'm assuming, unless it's someone who's.
He has two sisters too.
Yeah, it says my dad Phil Knight remains a moral champion to me, non-judgmental, humble, Christian, open-minded, in his 80s. So
Okay.
I'm assuming that's Christina Hart.
Her name is Christina Knight.
Oh, it's not Christina.
Not
I don't
Hart.
know why I said Hart. Christina Knight. She's an artist. She does.
So is Travis.
Yeah, it looks like she's doing like paintings and whatnot.
Creative types.
Yeah. Says.
Well, we've blown through another segment.
Never lose your compass.
No, you're right. She's right.
Yeah, don't.
I
do
love that.
Yeah, follow your compass.
Let her run the Blazers.
I want Chili T in charge. Let's go.
Chili T. We got to get to some Big Ten football talk, damn it. And it's going to happen.
It's Division One football.
But it's going to happen next on The Fan. What's up? We are partying here. We've gotten a little sidetracked, but that's to be
What?
expected.
Well, we've been distracted. I mean, it's the start of the WNBA, for God's sakes.
Yeah, Caitlin Clark makes her debut tonight.
How are we expected to focus?
Yeah, they said that tickets. So that it's a road game.
Yeah, I think they moved it to like a bigger arena.
So it's in Connecticut.
Yeah.
But they said it's $110 to get in to watch her play tonight.
Yeah. That's actually a pretty reasonable ticket, I would think.
Well, they said that if it weren't tonight, the normal ticket price
$7.
$17.
My my daughter for her birthday wanted to go see the Canucks. She's a big Canucks fan. So Game 5 with the Canucks Oilers is in Vancouver on Thursday. So I got her and my son tickets. They're going to go up and to get in the building. Worst seat in the building. Care to take a guess? Care to take a guess?
300.
Well, yeah, 300.
300.
I was gonna say because if it were like
I couldn't do it.
500 something, you wouldn't.
I couldn't do it.
You wouldn't send him up there.
No.
So it can't be that bad.
Yeah.
So I was gonna guess 250.
Yeah. Well, but with fees and everything, and that's the thing. It's annoying. The ticket's like $260, and then they hit you with $8 million worth of fees.
Oh, and they're convenience fees usually. Convenient for who?
Not
What?
you.
like
No.
a $40 service fee and a $19.50
The computer
convenience
did it. Who am I paying?
And then there's like a $3 delivery. You're emailing it to me. What in the hell?
Yeah, we could do a whole hour on those fees.
Just
Various walks of life that you just. What is that for?
yeah.
They just tack it on and you just pay it.
You just pay
You
it.
have no recourse.
Believe me, I on my phone I have a thing with tickets. So I have like I don't know what is that 12 different ticket sites to pull up, and I will bounce around trying to find the one that's screwing me less. But you get screwed by every single one of them.
But
Like
have you ever looked at like your phone bill
Oh yeah.
and all the different charges
Yeah, you're
or,
like,
or just
"What?"
all these hidden things? It's like what?
I don't know. And you can't and that's like if you call up, they have this just kind of like what are you going to go to a different cell phone company? They're doing the same thing. They all are. Cables that way. I mean, you just
Well, it's like Boeing. They're like,
Yeah.
what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
apparently fly Airbus.
You gonna fly something else? I don't think so.
That is crazy. There's only 2 plane manufacturers. There's Airbus and Boeing.
All right, so the Big Ten is now owning the 12:30 slot on CBS.
Yes.
How about that? That used to be SEC.
Yeah, they were talking about this at the end of the year. That it was kind of like a sad goodbye for Gary Danielson and all those cats because they've been doing the SEC for so long.
Yeah, he's old,
I know,
and so is Vern.
but they're going to go over. Like he's still going to do it. They'll just do Big Ten football. But it will be.
Oh, it is going to be Danielson.
I think
Vern's done.
Yeah, Vern's
right?
done, but Danielson, I believe, is still sticking around.
Ugh.
Because I remember his goodbye. He was just like, the next time we see you, we'll be talking Big Ten football. It'll just be weird to hear
Yeah.
him on an Oregon
I
Ohio
know.
State game.
Like imagine Oregon playing on CBS at 12:30.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
You know,
You've been so conditioned, but everything changed. I mean, for God's sakes, we could get the NBA on TNT, not on TNT. Like we may not have that show anymore inside the NBA.
well, no, we won't. I mean,
Yeah.
it's going away
But
because
well-
what's his nuts? Ernie's staying.
So that's just weird. So yes, it will be very strange to see the SEC not on CBS.
So the Big Ten announced 2 games early in the season, the September schedule that they will have at 12:30 on CBS. The first one is on the 14th of September, and that's the same day Oregon is playing Oregon State.
Mhm.
That'll be the Oregon State game will be on Fox or FS1.
Boy, you want to talk about something weird? September 14th? What? Civil War?
Yeah,
That's
it's gonna be odd.
huh? it's
I
gonna
can't
be,
even.
It's gonna be like 90 degrees, and we're at the Civil War. And by the way, I'm not certain. Like that. What's that crowd gonna be like? Like that. The animosity for that game is already something else. You put that warm weather, all the booze, all the hatred. I'm not certain I want anything to do with that environment. That may just be just a hard pass for me. You want to go down there and see what that's like?
No,
Yeah.
but
Especially if that game isn't competitive.
I hope the Beavs sell it out and make it a game.
I think that
Yeah.
game may go sideways. that's got potential to be ugly.
Anyway, it's on that date, and they have announced that Notre Dame will be at Purdue
Yeah.
at 12:30. which is weird
It's very weird.
because it's not even a Big Ten game.
No. Even though Notre
And
Dame.
it's Purdue.
Yeah. Purdue. Huh?
What?
Is anyone like you getting all jazzed up about the big Purdue? Is Zach Edey playing? What?
And then the other one is the week after, and Oregon has a bye that week. But on the 21st, they will have on CBS at 12:30 USC at Michigan.
There you go.
Now that's a ball game.
That is a ball game, but again, it's going to be so weird that that's on CBS. You have to retrain your brain.
Well, it's going to be weird. It's on CBS, and it's also going to be weird that it's a conference game
Yeah.
because it just doesn't. It won't look like that.
Well, I
Now
think
those two teams haven't played in the regular season since 1958.
oh, good grief.
They have met 10 times, but 8 of them are in the Rose Bowl.
Well, think about when you go down to Autzen, how strange it's going to be on the field. There's going to be the Big Ten logo.
Yeah.
Like, and we talked about it. I don't know what we're going to do. I'm assuming someone from the station will go out there, but their media days in Indianapolis. And, you know, our station has been part of Pac-12 media days for God knows how long. And like now all of a sudden we're going to Indy to cover the Big Ten. Like, are we going to interview we going to interview Ferentz? Like, it's just,
I'd like to nominate Danny and Dusty.
that's just such a weird,
I've never been to Indy,
that's such a weird thing. Yeah. You're not missing
and I'd like to
much.
keep it that way.
Yeah. Indy 500 was nice. And I went to the combine there.
I have a question about networks.
Network away. What do you got?
Well, I'll tell you next
All right.
because I'm trying to stay somewhat on time here.
Look at you.
I know.
Look at making an effort. I appreciate it.
Why do you appreciate it? You don't care.
Oh, I care.
Jeff says he cares, but he doesn't.
I think he does care.
He says he does. I think he's just trying to stick to his. You know how when you know you're wrong years and years later, and you just stick to your guns because you just don't want to admit, because it's just been a long.
It has been a long fight.
Yeah, it's been a battle.
This is like Jeff and the clock and you. My analogy is he is Nancy Reagan.
Oh.
You are drugs, and he has fought a war with you, a public war for the better part of 2 decades.
It's a battle.
And I hate to say this, but drugs won.
Yeah,
You have
that's right, Nancy.
Yeah, you've defeated Nancy. You are the crack cocaine of the clock. You can't be defeated.
All right, I have sports network question next on the Fan.
The home of Dirt and Spray.
I'm Dirt.
Drone hot dog
We
dropping?
have drone hot dog parachute dropping at Safeco Field.
I don't like it.
You don't like it? You don't
No.
want a hot dog out of the sky?
No, I want a guy yelling.
Hot dog!
Hot dog!
What if the drone is yelling in a computerized voice at you as it comes down? Hot dog!
No.
That was my attempt. at
Not
robot
everything
voice.
needs to be replaced by robots and
See-
drones.
Dirt and Spray. Weekdays 6 to 9 a.m. on 1080 The Fan.
Now, here's a quick look at Portland traffic.
Not only are we seeing really typical backups on northbound 5 if you're headed to the Interstate Bridge,
networks. What sports do you think of when I mention a network? Okay, so I'm going to mention a network, and I want you to tell me the first sport or team or maybe even announcer something. The first thing that comes to your mind,
Okay.
sports wise, when I say NBC.
NBC. I always think if you're going NBC, the first thing that comes to mind is Sunday Night Football.
That took you a long time.
I know. I was kind of sitting there, kind of going back.
I want
on that.
instant. I want instant because for me, the instant is Kentucky Derby.
Okay. Well, I mean, that was my thing. Is there wasn't one that necessarily jumped out. Honestly, the first one that popped into my head, but I thought it was a little wishy-washy because I was like, it was Notre Dame. So
well, there you go. See, why didn't you say that?
I don't know why. I was hesitant to say Notre Dame. I kind of panicked, and I was like, there has to be something better than Notre Dame. But you're right. The first thing that popped into my head was Notre Dame.
Notre Dame. For me, it's the Derby. What about ABC?
College football.
See, I think of hockey.
You think of hockey?
Yeah. I don't know why.
No, I guess I
and I don't know why.
I don't know. It was like, and I'm not something specific because if you said CBS, I'm going the SEC.
Well, I was gonna say CBS, but you just spoiled that.
Well, that's the SEC. But when I think of ABC, I don't know why. I guess I just think of Herb Street. I think of big time college football. I think of like flipping over at night. Like it was like kind of the CBS game was over. You watched Alabama, whatever, and then your big college football game in prime time was ABC. So
what about Fox?
Fox, I think of the NFL.
Me too. I go straight to NFL. You know whose face I see? This is so random and weird.
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy Johnson.
I thought of the robot.
Yeah, the robot on the intro.
And if you're going face for me, and I hate this because I think he's terrible and has become a joke, but the first one that popped into my head was Terry Bradshaw. Terry and Howie. And Howie's good, but Bradshaw is...
Yeah, they're Fox.
Yeah.
I had to think about that.
Yeah, they're Fox. Yeah, and they do Menifee and...
Yeah, a lot of people are saying NBC is the Olympics for them. That makes total sense.
Sure.
I can see that. What about ESPN? Do you think of what do you think of?
See, that I think of hockey. Because when growing up, I used to love Barry Melrose. Barry Melrose is probably my favorite sports commentator ever. And he's retired now, health problems. And then when hockey went away from ESPN, I was bummed because then it got buried on all these ancillary networks and it sucked and SportsCenter didn't cover it. And now it's back on ESPN. So I know that's not for probably anyone else, but I love that hockey is on ESPN. It belongs there. It gets more coverage. It's my favorite sport to watch. And so I go with that. And then the other one, if I'm going with outside of hockey, the next thing that I think of is I think of SportsCenter anchors. And not one in particular, but again, that's probably from my childhood. The Dan Patricks and the Keith Obermans and the Stuart Scotts and Van Pelt and Neil Everett. Like those anchors to me were, that was part of my childhood. I used to just sit there and watch. I'd leave SportsCenter on in the background.
You know what comes to my mind when I think of ESPN?
What do you got?
Again, these are so random. I just think of like a Marshall, Ohio football game or something.
Yeah, something random.
Just some random lame football game.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Like Souk, I think of like the just the reruns of SportsCenter playing at 2 a.m. with like the play out like jazzy saxophone to the SportsCenter theme. That's what resonates with me for ESPN.
Now you said CBS makes you think of the SEC. It does not for me.
No.
This has to do with my upbringing as well. But CBS to me is 100% college basketball.
Oh, college basketball.
No, not even the Masters. College basketball. When I think of CBS, I think of that. Dun, 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 dun,
Yep.
or not. That's the football one. What's the the basketball theme? The NCAA tournament theme.
I know what you're
Can you
speaking.
pull that?
I know what you're speaking of.
Yeah, but now that you have the SEC one in my head, I can't get it out.
Well, and I was the other one too is the yeah, that's the Masters. I think of the NBA theme is always stuck in my head. Like that. Yeah.
Basketball.
Yep.
That's John Tesh.
Is that John Tesh?
Yeah, he did that.
Yeah. This is the NCAA.
Yeah.
100%. The moment you hear that, you're like, oh.
And then one
Get your brackets out.
One
shining moment.
Yep. And now it's bounced around enough because, it's tough because Monday Night Football now, and some of these things have moved around and now they're on streaming and whatever, but there's just certain things that you'll always associate with those, even when they fade. Because a lot of it is like what you said, what you grew up with. Like you being a college basketball fan growing up, you'll always have that.
Yeah, somebody said Fox World Series. That's good.
Mhm.
I would imagine a lot of people think that. When you think of ABC, somebody mentioned Monday Night Football. That's interesting.
Yeah. Or
that is probably an age thing.
age
But
thing, Wide World of Sports.
not to call you old, sir.
There was that like back in the day.
Wide World of Sports, yeah,
Huh?
but that bounced around though, didn't it?
I thought ABC was always Wide World of Sports. I may be wrong, but I thought
maybe.
that was that. And the other one too is, remember the old ABC? They had the Battle of Network Stars. I loved that. You had like Tom Selleck swimming and like against the $6 Million Man, like Lee Majors is out there. I used to love those things.
What was the George Michael sports machine on?
I think that was just syndicated because that was when I was growing up in Anchorage. My dad used to, because I'd go spend all my summers there. My dad loved, we used to sit there every Sunday and watch the George Michael sports machine. And when I went to college, I had a chance to go to Cheyenne Frontier Days. And that was, it's like a huge rodeo. And it was specifically because George Michael always used to cover rodeo. He used to love the rodeo clips. So I remember going to that thinking, man, I'm finally getting to see Cheyenne Frontier Days, George Michael sports machine. He had the big buttons that he would press. But I think that was just a syndicated show.
Well, it says it aired on NBC.
NBC?
Yeah, but
Loved me the George Michael sports machine.
yeah, I mean, it was just a highlight show.
Yeah.
I mean, there's really nothing special about it
No?
other
but-
than he'd push that little button
Yeah, he had the
to
button.
start the highlight.
But again, it was kind of unique, right? It was
Why?
because it was kind of was one of the
At the
first.
time?
It was one of the first of its kind.
Now ABC does it, or I mean, ESPN does it like
Yes,
every night
17
and has for
times a
30
day,
years.
but-
Yeah, exactly. But there used to only be one. You'd get
Yeah.
your highlights from George.
Well,
You
and-
kids out there.
Yes, and they would do like the weekly recaps. Hey, this is what you missed this week. It was antiquated. It was great back in the day.
Now, what do you think of when you think of Telemundo?
I think of the soccer calls. Goal!
Is that Telemundo?
That's Telemundo.
Hmm.
Yeah. That and hot news anchors.
Yeah, hot gals and
See,
game
that's
shows.
what
I think.
of.
Yeah.
I think of hots.
Yeah. Whenever I'm down
big breasts.
whenever I'm down south of the border and I flip on TV, it's just a series of hots doing random things. And I don't know about you, but whenever I travel to a foreign country, I love watching foreign TV. I don't understand a word of what's being said, but I'm fascinated by it. To see what their news looks like, to see what their sitcoms look like. I love it. Infomercials, can't get enough.
Yeah, Wide World of Sports was Howard Cosell, Howie
Yeah.
Cosell, and that was ABC. That's
The
right.
agony of the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat, and they had the ski jumper or the skier tumbling down the hill. And they would always do weird things on the Wide World of Sports, like barrel jumping. They would just do some weird, obscure sport.
Yeah, it was pretty stupid.
Yes.
I thought. I never really got into it. I liked This Week in Baseball.
That was
and-
what, Mel Allen, right?
Yeah, and that was always on. God, what was that on? Was that Fox? Gosh, I can't remember.
I don't
what
remember
channel
where
that
that.
was
I
on.
remember This Week in Baseball, but I don't remember what channel it was on.
Twib, and then the Johnny Bench, or was it the?
I think that was on Fox before their game of the week.
I think that's right.
Hmm.
And then what was the Johnny Bench show? The Baseball Bunch.
Oh
You
yeah.
remember that show?
I
I used to love all those.
when you said
shows.
Johnny Bench, I was like, what? But when you said the Baseball Bunch,
I think he was on the Baseball Bunch.
I could see that. It might have been a bit before my time, because that's a
Am I
kind of a-
dating myself?
no, but we're only a couple years apart. That just was it's one of those vague sort of memory things for me. You said the Baseball Bunch. I'm like, I kind of remember that.
Yeah, and it had the chicken on there
Yeah, San Diego Chicken.
and a bunch of stupid kids.
Sure. And they were always like, Mr. Bench, Mr. Bench. And they would, and then he'd have like 7 balls in his hand and then give him some sort of weird tip. Johnny Bench used to do those Battle of the Network Stars too. He was always on there. I used to, those.
Apparently, Johnny Bench could be bought.
Yes. Well, I think back in the day, those guys didn't make that much money. So, you were out
Yeah.
to, put
I
out,
would have done it too.
put a couple bucks in your pocket.
Yeah, the Mel Allen This Week in Baseball when they got to the end of it and they would play the highlights of the week.
Yeah.
And that music, do you remember the song for that? Amazing song.
No, I don't.
Can you see if you can find that, Buck?
Not off the top of my head.
What song is that now?
Thanks for paying attention.
Well,
this
multitasking over here.
This week in baseball theme song. It should be in our system. I mean, if we're a sports station, that should be in our system.
You would think.
It's just an orchestra. It's really good.
I bet you when I hear it, it's the same thing. Like I'm trying to remember in my head now. I'm trying to remember the George Michael Sports Machine theme song too.
Oh,
because I know that was and like
let's find that too.
Yeah, the
Buckley.
moment I hear it, I'll be like, oh yeah, that. Yeah.
Yes, this. Oh my God, this gives me goosebumps.
It's a good tune.
And they're showing all the highlights for the week.
Yeah.
Ozzie Smith.
And the best part is that's the first time you would have ever seen it.
Exactly. Yeah. You only read about it in the box scores from the papers. The papers.
I do remember that. I do remember being a kid and going and looking up box scores in the paper. And then it would come, and my favorite part of the week was when I got the sporting news. Because it, unlike the Sports Illustrated, it actually came like on newsprint. And it was huge. I used to love getting the sporting news.
All right, well, that's enough of old men reminiscing.
Yeah. Back in my day.
The kids are like, what the hell are they talking about?
Give me TikTok.
Ow!
All right, coming up next, in the news, how awful on a scale of 1 to 10 is Boeing?
It's pretty bad.
Here's Buck.
This is a DGA Championship Week edition of
with Bop and Zook.
Newt Zook.
Thanks, Isaac and Newt Zook.
Hey, maybe that's my rebrand. I go with Newt.
Newt Zook.
Someone at the end of last week was calling you guys Sachi and Cramps because of Sook's hamstring situation.
Boy, that was dicey.
Isachi and Cramps.
Yeah.
Isachi.
Yeah, it's no good.
The date is March 14, 2024. It is time now on our show for In the News. I'm your Noted Newsman. Hello. Thank you.
Are you kidding me?
Thank you so much. Today is Stars and Stripes Forever Day.
Oh, all right. Go flag. Assuming that's what that is.
That
right?
was not. I need more.
USA.
USA.
Well, I've said many times.
I need more
in this
passion
show,
out of you.
One of the things that bums me out the most is that for a lot of people, the what has become the symbolism of the flag has become something dirty and ugly, and I hate that. I hate that it's that the flag has become, like everything else, politicized, and that if you're patriotic and you have a flag, then to some people that automatically means that you have a certain way of thinking, and that's crap. You should be proud of where you're from and not necessarily lumped in with a bunch of dumbasses.
Well, and you should like today. It's Stars and Stripes Forever Day.
It's a beautiful flag, beautiful anthem.
It is also Dance Like a Chicken Day,
No, it will not. I've never chicken danced.
like in the first episode of
Oh yeah,
Gentlemen.
the gentleman. Well, at the wedding, right? You do the chicken dance. Yeah, can't say I've ever
That's so stupid.
never done that.
I refuse to chicken
good
dance.
Yeah, good for you.
Red Lobsters are closing all over this nation. I know that disappoints a lot of you.
What are we gonna do about Lobster Fest, man?
Well,
Cheddar Bay biscuits.
That will disappoint my in-laws. They like to go out
dude,
to have a time at Red Lobster every now and then.
my mom's going to be livid.
Yep.
She loves Red Lobster.
Yeah, Boole, my elderly Swedish mother, she doesn't get around very much anymore. But back in the day, she was partial to a Red Lobster birthday dinner.
And the thing that I love about like your mom and my mom loving Red Lobster is that they were adamant to the point of they don't understand why it gets so much
No,
flack. They don't get it. They're like, "What? This place is great." With the little biscuits,
The
little cheddar biscuits.
Cheddar Bay biscuits.
Someone makes fun of it in a comedy bit. They're like, "Well, what's wrong with
What
Red
is that-
Lobster?"
What is that? Yeah, I don't get. Place is wonderful.
That's fine dining right there.
It's cheap.
Yeah. Look, I've partaken of a few
Crappy seafood.
unlimited shrimp at
What's
the
not to love?
at the Red Lobster.
Well, they have shuttered over 90 stores nationwide, all in a day. Like just yesterday,
Just gone.
just gone. Closed their. As a matter of fact, a lot of the employees took to social media and be like,
No one told. We just showed up.
no, yeah, no one told anybody anything. They
Well, the only Red Lobster I know of is there's one down by the Vancouver Mall. Is that
still open.
Still open?
The one in the only one that closed in Oregon and Washington is in Silverdale.
Okay.
And other than that, it sounds like all the Oregon stores are open at least right now.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, obviously business isn't good. I mean,
No, they're gonna file for
you know,
bankruptcy. I wonder why.
I don't know. People going to McGrath's. I don't.
It's like a good business model.
I don't know.
I don't see the problem. I'm looking at Kansas. I want to see if the one in Salina closed.
I feel like Red
It
Lobster.
did not.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah.
if there was one place that
Mama
you were gonna
rock.
tell me that the Red Lobster was gonna stay open,
Yeah,
I would assume
that's probably one of their better business.
right.
Better.
The middle of the country needs that seafood.
Yes. Look, I'm not here to crap on the Olive Garden or Red Lobster or whatever, because for a lot of people, like that is.
But
Well, look,
Hey, when you're there, you're family.
I would like to think that there's.
that's not true.
You should explore more options, but for a lot of people, that's where you're comfortable.
You can do worse than never-ending pasta bowls. Just saying.
My entire family.
If you had to go to Red Lobster or Olive Garden
Red Lobster.
for the rest of your
Red Lobster.
really
Yeah.
for the rest of your life,
No, I'm going Olive Garden.
you have to.
Oh, well, I mean, there's more variety at the Olive Garden, because I can get seafood at the Olive Garden. I think I can get some
I'd
sort
go
of,
Olive
unlimited
Garden.
soup salad.
yeah, I can get some sort of shrimp scampi. Really, I'm just showing up for the breadsticks and the Cheddar Bay biscuits.
Lot of
and
breadsticks.
rolls.
The reality too here is that if you have to eat at one for the rest of your life, if Red Lobster just closes, you can't eat.
That's true.
Olive Garden ain't going nowhere, homie.
No. I think the Olive Garden is the most popular of those TGI McScratchies, is it not?
No question. It's
Olive-
got to be.
It's everywhere. Like, you just... And it's busy. Like, there's one over by my house, and if you drive by that thing
Yeah.
on a weekend,
People love the
there's a
Olive.
line outside the door. Some chicky parm parm.
Okay, so on a scale of 1 to 10, I want you both to answer this question. At this point, knowing what you know,
Yeah.
How awful is Boeing? 1 being not awful, 10 being the most awfulest awful.
9.
Yeah. What do you think, Buck?
I wasn't going to go quite that far. I think that there's probably some nefarious decisions being made at high levels, but as the whole company, I can't get that far.
They may
6?
they may or may not be killing whistleblowers, and they are
Yes.
it really
Yes.
does feel like they are knowingly putting planes out that could kill people and have killed people,
Yeah.
and they don't care.
Dude, I'm with you. I think it's at least a 9.
Dude, there were
Okay.
2 planes that
They're awful.
crashed. 2. Hundreds of people on each one died because Boeing, Boeing refused to tell anyone about flaws in their planes. I don't know how people aren't in jail. It's
Yeah.
unbelievable.
No, you're right. And here's another. Let's pile on. And that's the reason I asked this question. Is this new thing just came out a little bit ago? The Justice Department has come out and said that Boeing violated a deal where it avoided prosecution after those 2 crashes.
Yes.
After the 737 MAX crashes, Boeing. So the Justice Department has been looking into them, and they have now ruled that Boeing has violated a settlement that allowed the company to avoid criminal prosecution after 2 deadly crashes involving its 737 MAX.
Yeah.
Okay, so you ask why is nobody in jail? Well, there was a settlement that, as part
To
of the
keep it
settlement,
quiet,
yeah,
keep
that
people from getting punished.
people were not going to go to jail. Well, they violated that.
Yeah.
And now it says it's up to the Justice Department to decide whether to file charges against the aircraft maker amid increasing scrutiny over the safety of its planes.
I don't know how you couldn't.
Prosecutors will tell the court no later than July 7th how they plan to proceed.
And my guess is they're going to get bought off and no one's held responsible. But realize that they sent those planes into the air with a system that they had not trained their pilots on. That because the pilots didn't know about those systems, the pilots reacted a certain way when the plane had problems, and 2 entire planes full of people crashed and died. All because Boeing didn't want to train pilots on them because that would have caused delays and would have cost them money. You want to talk about blood on their hands? Hundreds of people are dead. And Boeing's like, man.
Not to mention the 2 whistleblowers who they definitely killed.
Oh, yeah.
So they reached a $2.5 billion settlement with the Justice Department. This was back in 2021 to avoid prosecution on 1 single charge of fraud, which was misleading regulators who approved the planes.
Yeah.
Boeing blamed the deception on 2 relatively low-level employees. And now, they're under renewed scrutiny for the door plug bit and all that stuff that's going on. And shockingly, Boeing has not commented on this latest finding.
Yeah. That I've read plenty of stuff. John Oliver did a piece on it. I mean, there's stuff out there, and it just, like, Boeing just over the last, decade and a half has just decided to not give 2 Fs about anything other than trying to make as much money as humanly possible. And they've killed people.
Text here on the Vancouver Ford text line. Boeing is like almost every other corporation in this country. They answer to the shareholders. This means they cut corners and cut costs to boost the stock price.
Yeah.
The problem is Boeing needs to be more regulated because they're an integral part of our transportation system.
Yes, again,
All of that is correct.
There's only 2 plane manufacturers that produce these big planes. And so basically there was one time where Boeing lobbied and got the it's not the Future Farmers, right?
The FAA.
The FAA used to oversee Boeing, and Boeing successfully lobbied to have Boeing oversee Boeing.
Yep.
So when there were investigations into quality control, Boeing investigated themselves. That's how ass backwards this is.
So the guy who headed up the Justice Department fraud investigation said in a letter filed in Texas federal court that Boeing failed to make changes to prevent it from violating federal anti-fraud laws, a condition of the settlement. The determination means that Boeing could be prosecuted for any federal criminal violation of which the United States has knowledge, including the charge of fraud that the company hoped to avoid with the $2.5 billion settlement. So they are in a world of hurt. At least I hope they are.
It feels like no one at this level
Sounds like they are.
ever has anything bad happen to them.
I know.
And it's one thing,
Jeffrey Skilling went to jail.
Yeah.
He was Enron.
Yeah. It just so very rarely. And this isn't just fraud. This is people are dead.
So how quickly?
And lots of people.
So who's next to die?
God, I'll tell you what. I wouldn't be blowing the whistle if I was a Boeing. I'd be shutting up. I mean, come on. That's really, really suspicious.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. We talked about it while you were away. I don't even think it's all that suspicious. I just think it's pretty obvious.
Seems like it.
I mean, one of them had a heart attack. I think they said, right?
Yeah, an unexpected, like
And the other one had like a.
committed suicide, right?
As long as they have
Oh no, sorry. The first one was suicide. The second one they said was like a
weird infection that took over like 48 hours.
Yes, like a fast-moving infection. My ass. That's called bleach.
Yeah, it's just you've killed planefuls of people. Why not? Why not these two?
Well, as somebody said on the text line back when we were talking about it, what those guys are saying could cost them billions upon billions of dollars. And
Yes.
those guys were saying those things in court.
Yes.
They can't have that.
And now they're
Easiest solution?
Yeah.
Death.
And we always think it can't happen here. Why not?
Oh, it does.
Happens lots of other places.
All right. That's enough on Boeing. No, the Oregon winner of the big lottery is not offering you money. That next on The Fan.
This is the Fan's Window into Sports, a view into today's top stories. Brought to you by Window Nation, online at windownation.com.
There's some points in the game where I'm doing the same thing you guys are doing, just kind of being a fan of what he's doing. And when some of those shots go in, just kind of making a face like, that's crazy. But he's been doing it all year. I've seen him do it since I got here, and that's just who he is. A tough shot maker, but he does a lot more out there for us than just that.
Chet Holmgren with a little Mike Leach
That
talking about Shea Gilgeous-Alexander.
Who is just fantastic.
What a game last
I
night.
mean, a lot of people think he should be the MVP, and he's keeping them alive in this series because they were dead to rights.
The Window into Sports is brought to you by Window Nation. This month, receive 50% off all window styles plus 0% interest for 5 years. Call 866-90NATION or visit windownation.com to schedule your free in-home consultation.
It's the Vancouver Ford text line.
Plenty of time to talk sports today.
One number does it all. 503
Say your prayers, little one. Don't forget my song
All right.
to include everyone.
This gets me every time. This song here.
Yeah, it's sneaky.
The real Metallica. What's going on? It's Rop and Sook. What's happening?
Yeah.
Good little Tuesday.
It is a good little Tuesday.
Sada.
I'm reading through the proposed NCAA settlement that came down the wire about 45 minutes ago.
Nice.
Ross Dellinger in Yahoo Sports.
Nice.
They have the documents that were that they've obtained, and this is what was being passed around to the Power 5 commissioners. And it is the proposed settlement in all of basically the Jeffrey Kessler lawsuits that are going around. This would consolidate them all into one big settlement pot. And we're looking to the tune of about $2.7 billion.
Yeah, all of that was reported last week.
Yeah,
We just didn't know how close they were.
And now we have more details that talk about where that money will come from, how long, what the new model will look like. It's
Boeing should pay it.
You what?
I think Boeing should pay it.
I think they'd slough that off, no big deal. And then Charlie Baker, the NCAA president, dies. Actually, be Jeffrey Kessler, the attorney that keeps suing the NCAA. But we can go through it at some point because it actually gives some pretty good detail on what this settlement will look like. It also says in there that if they decide not to settle and they go to court, they do believe they will lose, and they will lose to the tune of about $20 billion.
Yeah.
And then they talk about bankruptcy and all that. So basically, shut up and settle.
Yeah, that's what they've been working towards.
Yep.
Coming up this hour, we will look at the Beavs and Cougs TV deal, and I've got some fun with audio. We have an update on the OKC to win it all parlay, bro.
Oh yeah, he turned down what 75 to 100K.
Well, he turned down 75.
Yeah, he said
at
70,
the start of the series.
75, and then he said he had a couple others that were for 100 plus, but he wasn't interested either. So.
And then in the club tonight, yet another reason why we can't have nice things. Does anyone care if Miss USA and Miss Teen USA step down? And a wild high school con that I want to tell you about.
All right.
But we'll probably get to none of that.
We talk about Harrison Butker too.
I'm sorry?
You haven't seen Harrison Butker?
What did
The
he do?
kicker?
Well, he gave a commencement speech to a small college. He gave their commencement speech, and
What college? You can't pronounce it.
Did he
can
get
you?
political?
Oh, he got political.
Oh,
Benedictine College?
Benedictine.
Benedictine?
Yeah. It's out of Kansas City.
Oh, yeah. He, Buck, why don't you go ahead and pull the first 60 seconds of that? Because it is.
I'm on it.
Well,
Yeah,
I'll tell
I
you
wanna
what.
hear it.
If you really want to just wrap your arms around the female community, just.
Uh-oh.
Yep.
Really?
Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
Yeah, now I can't. That's a great tease. I
It's-
can't wait to hear
I
this.
didn't think that's the route he was going to go. Or,
Dude, it's
yeah.
it's amazing.
So he's the kicker of the Chiefs.
He's the kicker of the Chiefs. He's a handsome devil. And let's just say that he thinks that a woman's place is
Well, we'll listen to it. We'll listen to it.
it's good stuff. It's good stuff.
Or bad stuff.
Well, it's something else.
Right now, the Hot 5 at 5.
Hot topics, hot opinions,
Oh, golly, I'm hot today.
and hot air. It's time for the Hot 5 at 5.
That's hot.
The Hot 5 at 5 on Primetime with Isaac and Sue.
No, I mean it. That's very hot.
The Hot 5 at 5 with Isaac and Sue. Brought to you on The Fan by Victorico's Mexican Food, the most popular burrito spot in Oregon. Online at victoricos.com. Number 5.
Well, it's $110 to get in to watch Caitlin Clark's WNBA regular season debut tonight for Indiana. They are playing in Connecticut.
I'm watching the Panthers and Bruins. What am I missing over here on Fever?
Ryan Buckley just made the comment to me off the air through the headset while you were out of the room. He said, "This just in, Caitlin Clark sucks." He said that.
Well,
Now,
what I
don't know-
said on the air in my update is that in the first quarter, she was 0 for 3 from the field with 0 points on the night. That remains the case. She has 1 assist, though, dishing it out, helping teammates.
All right. Well, that's tonight.
I'll be interested to see what sort of, and I've said this all along, what sort of momentum the college game can have into the WNBA, or if this is too much too soon. I'm intrigued to see what the numbers are for the entire season here, and it certainly feels like women's basketball is having their moment right now.
Number 4.
Well, I got some golf news for you guys out there
It is PGA Championship Week.
in sports land. First of all, I want to tell you that Rory McIlroy and his wife are getting a divorce.
Oh,
Yeah, that news dropped today, which is really odd timing.
don't tell Harrison Butker that.
I watched Rory at the Masters for just a brief period. This was on Sunday, so he was already out of contention. He looked so sad.
Well, divorce will do that to you, right?
Right. Well, now I'm putting two and two together. Like, I'm looking at him going, God, he looks sad. It can't be all that he's not winning this tournament. I wonder what his personal life is like. Like, I actually had that thought watching him, and now we're finding out he is getting a divorce.
It's only one thing to do if you're Rory. You go on a run of ass and go on a run of majors.
Someone saying,
just pull a Tiger Woods.
well, someone said that because there was a prenup, the ultimate heel turn would be if he goes to live for like $800 million now, and she doesn't get any of it. Also, the last time he had a divorce announced, he won the BMW championship
Man, he just came.
What?
He just came off.
He
of a
was
win.
married before?
to Caroline Wozniacki.
They were married?
I don't think they were married. I
don't
think
think
they
they
were
were.
engaged, and he broke it off with her.
Oh, maybe that was it then. But he won the BMW championship the
Okay.
last time there's public knowledge of his breakups.
All I know is ladies beware and other golfers beware. Rory's on the loose.
He's
looked
won
good.
4 majors as a single man, 0 as a married man.
He looked good last week. The Baton Rouge Regional of the NCAAs, the Ducks trying to qualify for the championship. They are tied for 8th after 2 rounds. So there's only 1 round left. They have to be in the top 5. And it looks like they're 8 shots back of Ohio State at the moment. Got to leapfrog LSU and Houston as well. So they need a big day tomorrow.
Yeah, it seems like a tough. I don't know. In the team format, it's 8 because 8 shots seems like a lot.
Yeah, it is, but Oregon State's women's team did it. They were
Okay.
down 7 going into the final round, and they flipped the script on Tennessee. So it can be done. 2 more NFL games that we know of. The schedule will be released tomorrow, but we are hearing that the Jets will be at the Niners on Monday Night Football for Week 1. That's a...
Yeah, you get Aaron Rodgers.
I was going to say it's a good game. I don't know if it is.
I think that's a good game.
That's where Aaron Rodgers blows out his other Achilles.
And then blames, I don't know, some sort of vaccine that he didn't take.
Also, the Chiefs will be hosting the Bengals in Week 2. So the Chiefs have their first 2 home games, Week 1 and Week 2, Baltimore and Cincy.
Yeah, well, welcome to back-to-back Super Bowls, right?
Wow.
Tough little schedule.
The Beavers and the Cougs finalize a 1-year Pac-12 TV deal. They will televise 11 of their 13 home games on the CW and Fox Sports networks.
Hey, that's better than what you were before.
That is better. Like, from my perspective, I will be able to see more Beavs and Cougs games with this deal than their last deal.
I think that's for most people.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, it doesn't pay you much, but,
No.
you know, and
But still.
as far as seeing games, yes, I think this is a good thing.
One other college sports note, Wisconsin Green Bay basketball has hired sports talk show host Doug Gottlieb as head coach.
Run that by me again.
And he
What?
will continue to host his show.
That's the crazy part.
Yes!
Huh?
He's not giving up his radio show and will become a college head basketball coach.
How is
I don't know.
That's not possible.
It's true. It's all true.
That can't be.
It's real. It's
That
true.
can't be.
True.
Number 1.
What? You're like, hold on. Hold on,
It's
everybody.
true.
No.
Yes!
Just like in the middle of practice, you're like, hold on, I got to tape an interview?
I don't know.
Oh, my gosh.
It's a wild one. J.J. Redick is the favorite to coach the Lakers, although there is nothing official on that front yet. And
Will he be doing his podcast live during games
Will
as
his
well?
hat be on backwards?
I'll just say right now, if he becomes the coach of the Lakers and he comes out for the first game with his hat on backwards, he will be my favorite person in sports. Just to troll Colin Cowherd.
NBA playoffs to nizzle. Pacers lead the Knicks early by 5. They just started. That series tied at 2. They're, of course, at Madison Square Garden. And then Timberwolves and Nuggets, TNT tonight, series also tied at 2. They are in Denver.
By the way, the team that wins Game 5 in a 2-2 series wins like 84% of the series. So these are massive games.
If you want hockey scores, the Bruins lead the Panthers 1-0 as Florida tries to close out that series. They're up 3-1 in the East. They're in the second period there in Florida. And then Canucks-Oilers later with Vancouver leading 2-1.
And by the way, Caitlin Clark only slightly sucks now. She has her first basket.
Hell yeah.
So she has 2 points.
Victor Rico's Mexican food brings you the Hot 5 at 5, the most popular burrito spot in Oregon. Order now at victorricos.com. We'll take a look at the Beeves and Cougs and their new little TV deal that they cut, and some fun with audio, which now includes Harrison Butker's commencement speech.
You working ladies are going to want to hear this.
It is 5:12. This is The Fan.
Yeah.
In Big Souk will be taking over as Portland State AD, but will continue to do his radio show.
Yes.
A la Doug Gottlieb.
Yeah, to be clear. Actually, I'm going to be doing the AD and will also be coaching their offensive line while continuing my radio duties and will be the new voice of the Portland Pickles. Look, if Jason Swigart can have 19 jobs, why can't I? Along with Doug Gottlieb.
Crazy.
That may be seriously
That is weird.
The dumbest thing I've heard outside of Harrison Butker.
I don't even know how he does it. He does a daily show, right?
Yes,
It's
he
not
does
a
a daily
weekly
show.
show.
No.
It's every day.
Every day.
How is he going to do his
For
show?
like 3 hours, a nationally syndicated show.
He must just have fill-ins, right?
What fill-ins for? Like, then it's not.
Well, I
his-
don't know.
Does he have fill-in coaches? Is he doing a Herm Edwards sort of thing, where he's going to be the head coach but isn't going to be involved in the day-to-day operations?
What if it just becomes a giant promo for Wisconsin Green Bay basketball?
like calling in the UFL? Why not?
What's he even on? I don't even know what he's on.
Gottlieb?
Thank God. I can't stand him. I think he's a douche. But what is his show on?
I think it's on Fox Sports because he fills in for Colin.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's sometimes on Colin's show.
So I'm assuming
that's a
I'm assuming
Fox
he's on Fox Sports.
Tie in there.
Yeah.
He used to be at ESPN, didn't he?
Huh? He was the one guy that one of the guys that we got to meet. You were gone. You were on vacation, but we
Yeah,
got
you
to
went back there, right?
We went back. Who went with me? Did Swag go with me? Anyway, you were gone, and so we got to. They invited the affiliates, and we got to go back to tour Bristol and everything. And the one guy that they had come by to like talk to us was Doug Gottlieb,
Ugh.
and I made fun of him for the KFC double-decker sandwich, and he got all pissy about it.
You're doing better than this.
Well, he's like super healthy guy, right? He's like ripped and all that. And at the time, he was doing an ad for the KFC double-decker sandwich, and I brought it
And
up.
leave it to you to call him out on it.
I don't think he liked it.
Well, listen,
Well, I mean, come on.
he's a donkey, but I don't know, he could be a good coach. I remember when he used to play for Oklahoma State.
After he got kicked out of Notre Dame.
He played at Oklahoma State, and they came to Allen Fieldhouse to play Kansas, obviously the Big 12, right?
Yeah.
He had a moment where they were getting ready to start the game, and
Mhm.
he was the point guard for Oklahoma State, and he was a pretty good point guard. Like
Yeah.
he would never shoot or score.
No, he was like Jason Kidd. He didn't
But
have
he
a
would
jumper,
dish.
but he was a good
I
player.
think he owned the program record for assists. I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure.
he would average like 4 points and 12 assists. He
Yeah.
was an interesting player. And by the way, Jason Kidd could score, but yes, he wasn't the best shooter.
That's what I was.
But Kidd was like he'd drop 30 on you.
Yeah.
But Gottlieb would not. But it was in the huddle right before they go out on the court to tip, and all the Kansas fans are going crazy pregame, and all of a sudden the crowd starts chanting, "Shorts on backwards, dun 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 dun, shorts on backwards."
Gottlieb
dun,
had his
dun."
shorts on backwards.
He had his shorts on backwards. And he had to go in. He had to go back to the bench and have them all stand around him while he changed his pants, turned his
That's
pants
what you
around.
remember about Doug Gottlieb. huh?
Yeah, I totally remember that. I thought it was hilarious.
All right. I can't say that he's my favorite, but he thinks a lot of himself. He likes him some Doug
And that's
Gottlieb,
why I
but
don't
who
like
doesn't?
him. It's like he's not that good. Like he thinks he's great, and he's not. And I hope he flames out at Wisconsin Green Bay.
Don't worry, he still has a show to fall back on.
Bring that ass to Allen Fieldhouse, bitch.
I just can't believe they're letting him do that.
Well, it's probably a contractual thing.
I know but what a weird thing. Like if-
There's no way. I'm sorry. If he's the coach, he's a full-time head basketball coach at Wisconsin Green Bay.
That's what they're
There
saying.
is no way that he could host a daily radio show. There's just
She
no
is
way.
an
aloof bitch. There's just no way.
Is this going to be the greatest recruiting tool of all time? He has nothing but Green Bay, Wisconsin recruits onto his show. He's like the Deion Sanders of Wisconsin basketball.
Yeah, then go talk up your current players to boost their NBA stock, and off you go.
Boy, that is fascinating. Hey, got me. It's going to get me to pay attention to
Yeah.
Green Bay, Wisconsin, who, by the way, apparently are the Phoenix. Did you know that?
Yeah, I read that today when reading about this story.
Doesn't make any sense to me that a team from Green Bay is the Phoenix, but all right, let's go with it.
So the Beavs and the Cougs got their games on TV, at least home games. Now, I don't know what happens with road games. I guess they're just at the mercy of
Whoever team they're playing.
right.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know how all that works.
So it seems good on paper, but until you remember that they have a whole other half of their schedule that we have no idea what it's going to be on. But the home football schedule for Oregon State and Washington State will all be televised. Oregon State has 7 games. Washington State has 6. All of them will be on, well, most of them will be on the CW.
Yes.
And the CW, by the way,
It's network
who
TV.
carries our show
Mhm.
from 3 to 4 here locally, they have done a really good job diving into sports.
Yeah.
They pivoted and said, hey, we just want to do local sports, and they're doing a really good job with it.
They've got the Winterhawks. In fact, the Winterhawks play tonight up in Moose Jaw. That'll be there. Yeah, they've done a nice job with it. And, of course, our beautiful faces.
So Oregon State, the only home game that they have that won't be on the CW will be on Fox or FS1, and that will be the Oregon game, which is on September 14th. And then for Washington State, they'll all be on the CW with the exception of the Texas Tech game. They host them on the 7th of September, and that will be on Fox or FS1.
Yeah, one of those two. So, yeah, in the announcement, it didn't say anything about the road games, or are we to imply that those are all games?
No. It's not all games. It's just the home games that they're the CW and FS1.
So
it's probably it probably is the Mountain West.
The Mountain West. So because remember they had one of these a long time ago where remember Oregon State played like Hawaii and it was only on Facebook because we had to do off of Hawaii's TV deal. So you're right in that this is probably just going to be whatever road team they're playing, whatever TV deal they have, mostly Mountain West. It'll be wherever the Mountain West games. And then that leads to the question of where the hell are the Mountain West games played?
I have no idea. So they're San Diego State. So I'm trying to look at all the games that the road games. They have San Diego State, Nevada, Cal.
Well, that'd be under the ACC.
Yeah, that'd be ACC.
Deal. So the Mountain West deal
Air Force and Boise State.
Well, so that is the Mountain West deal is with CBS Sports and Fox Sports.
I bet you'll see a lot of them on CBS Sports.
Yeah, it'd be on CBS Sports and then like again whatever
with
the
Fox.
Yeah, but it won't be on Fox, I'm guessing.
No, but
so
FS1 or
FS1
something.
or whatever. Yes.
Well, I'll be honest with you. At my house, with the setup that I have, which is all streaming, this is better. I will see more Oregon State and Washington State football games than last year.
100%.
Because I never had the Pac-12 network.
No, I mean, look, it's a little solace for Coug and B fans, and I know the schedule, and yeah, it's not great, but yes, as far as visibility goes,
well, they're going to have better game times too.
Yes,
they're not going to be shoved at weird game times.
No, so a
lot of these are 3:30, 12:30.
I guess that's a silver lining to this.
Well, it's not a bad. I mean, you got to give them this. It's not a bad piecemeal solution in the short term.
No, not at all.
It's just not. Could they have done better than that?
I don't think so.
How do they do better than that?
You don't. The problem is that there's
money.
There's just no money in it.
But the only thing you can do, the only thing you can control, is get games
in front of
get people, like if you happen to have a good season and you're relevant,
get it out.
People may watch, and that's when you get more money.
And this is why you have to figure out in 2 years to get into the Big 12 of the ACC. The Mountain West TV deal, like, because in the statement, the Pac-12 said that they're committed to rebuilding the Pac-12 and all that. But we know that if you rebuild the Pac-12, it's just another version of the Mountain West. The Mountain West TV deal is $4 million per school. You can't. That doesn't work. In fact, in the new settlement we were talking about, the new proposed settlement that Yahoo got today. They're talking about from the Power 5 conferences, a $30 million a year commitment over the next 10 years to pay off this judgment. Like you can't be a $4 million, even if you get a better TV deal than the current Mountain West deal and say you get $5 or $6 mil, you can't have that. You can't have that and be a major player. So I'm with you. This is a great solution in the short term. Get eyeballs, but it doesn't change the fact that at the end of these 2 years, you have to find a way to get involved in the Big 12 or the ACC to have a chance of surviving. And even then, with the new settlement, it may be tough.
Well,
but it's your only hope.
Brandon Marcello of CBS Sports just put this out today, and he said that there is no bad blood at the spring meetings for the ACC, but he writes that a divorce between the ACC, Florida State, and Clemson is going to happen.
Yes.
Like it is. Yeah. Everybody's been kind of dancing around the topic, but not anymore. No, they're leaving.
Yeah, it's just a matter of how much and
it's
when
all going to be litigated. But let them hammer that out, and it's probably going to be soon. Like I don't know that the Beavs and not that to say that the ACC would just instantly take both of them, but they probably shouldn't they?
Well, the ACC added their teams so that they don't have to add others when these schools leave. They'll still be able to stand pat. It's just would they want to go and grab? We don't know. but they don't actually have to. That's why they expanded the way they did.
Well, I guess they could have just grabbed him initially.
Yes.
But
So we'll see. Again, it would come down to does it make financial sense? And by the way, some of this may be waiting for this settlement. The NCAA settlement with the lawsuits, the antitrust lawsuits. Dellinger had it that this could be done in a matter of weeks. That this settlement could be finalized, and once that happens, and this is what Charlie Baker is the NCAA president. I was listening to an interview the other day with him. And that's what he said. He goes, this needs to happen so that conferences and schools can have a clear idea of what's happening in the future. Because right now, that's the sticky part is not only Washington State and Oregon State that kind of have their future up in the air, all these schools, with the exception of the Big Ten and the SEC, they're all kind of sitting around being like, God, we don't know what this looks like. Right? Those schools have the financial wherewithal to be fine, but everyone else is kind of just holding their breath and saying, hey, we need to know what this model is going to look like going forward. So once that settlement happens, maybe within a couple of weeks, then maybe the ACC has their settlement talks with FSU and North Carolina and those schools. And then once that groundwork is laid and we know what the new model, what the new finances are of the NCAA Power 5 going forward, then you can get into some realignment stuff. But it may not be as long as you think. This stuff may all shake out by the end of the year.
Yeah. I keep going back to the ACC. If Clemson and Florida State leave the ACC, don't you think North Carolina and Miami and,
they may not be able to afford to.
Those other schools?
I mean, again, this is all going to be litigated, but dude, the ACC kind of has them by the shorts and saying that if you want out, it's costing you a couple $100 million. And Florida State and is saying no. They're trying to pay somewhere in the neighborhood of 80 and 90. But even if they settle somewhere on 150, can those other schools write a check for $150 million, knowing that you're already going to have to pay out several hundreds of millions of dollars in this new NCAA lawsuit? We just don't know what the financials or all of this is going to be. And some schools
I'm just spitballing.
May not be willing to pay the freight.
But without knowing any of that stuff, I mean, those are all unknowns, but I'm just spitballing about realignment. If the ACC crumbles because Florida State and Clemson leave and other schools defect, what's to stop the Pac-12 with Oregon State and Washington State from yanking some of the schools out west and keeping the Pac-12?
Well, they don't have the ACC has a guaranteed $30+ million. I mean, the Pac-12 couldn't come up with $30 million a year with the teams they had.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
It's just that no one's leaving for that. So,
but that's a pretty bad TV deal, the ACC. I just mean,
it's terrible.
The ACC may crumble.
It's possible.
And if they start adding, we're kind of at this place with realignment now where it's like, if Oregon State and Washington State aren't next, then who?
There's really not.
We're out of movement.
You're out of movement.
Unless teams move from, SEC to Big 12 or whatever.
Honestly, the last two desirables.
And no one would do that because of money, but they might kick schools out. Or
the last two that have any sort of cachet whatsoever are Oregon State and Washington State, and they got left behind. So, there's no interest in any of those schools. No offense to Boise State or San Diego State, there just isn't. They're non.
But I'm trying to think of anything in the ACC footprint that hasn't been snatched up. I mean, SMU is in there now, out of Texas. I mean,
there's just not
what's
much
left
now.
Marshall.
I still think if you're putting the my crystal ball and looking into it, I don't think there's going to be further expansion. I think it's going to be contraction. Because when you read through this, the proposed settlement, the price tag per school for the Power Fives is $300 million over 10 years. Each Power Five school is going to have to pay out $300 million over 10 years. So, I mean,
they'll miraculously find it.
But you're gonna, and then by the way, the new cap is gonna be around 21 or 22 million that the schools are gonna have to share with the student athletes. There's going to be some schools that cannot or will not play in this new world.
And that's what I mean when I say a school leaves a conference, because if they're not willing to pick to pay NIL, or to pay the freight for the players, these big leagues aren't going to have them.
Yeah.
You're not competing. You're not getting players. So you're out.
Yep. So it's just
so where do those schools go and play is the question.
Probably some
if one of those schools is, say, Vanderbilt,
yeah,
or I don't know, Big Ten, Illinois,
Yeah.
whomever. Where do they go?
Probably down to some
Pac-12.
Probably some new form of league that doesn't really compete with that. Like there's a reckoning coming, and it sounds like it's going to happen sooner than later. We thought maybe this was going to be years and years down the road, but this may all shake out in the next year or two.
All right. Fun with Audio is next. We have an update on the Oklahoma City Parlay Bro and Harrison Butker.
Oh boy, I'm getting a whole bunch of stuff now.
Yeah, he was giving a commencement speech, and we're going to play some of it.
The ladies
He's
love
a
him.
kicker.
Yep.
Oh,
All
wait
right.
till he goes in on the COVID fiasco.
Oh, boy. That is next. Here's Buck. the boss, Jeff Austin, listening to our show today. And he has emailed and said, because he still uses email.
I do love that.
He has emailed and said that not only did you insult Doug Gottlieb. Oh, by the way, the ESPN trip, I was gone, but it was you, Dusty, and him.
Oh, the boss went back with us.
That went to what is it, Bristol?
Yes, we went back to Bristol.
And he said, not only did you insult Doug Gottlieb, you insulted Scott Van Pelt.
Yeah, inadvertently I did. So
only you.
Well, the Scott Van Pelt one, he was offended, but I don't necessarily think it was.
What did you say?
So we were doing our show from there, and I was talking about how they had affiliates from all over the country, and none of those people wanted to come talk to us. Like, come on. When Doug Gottlieb showed up, Doug Gottlieb would have rather a root canal than show up and talk to our little song and dance, right?
Like on the air?
Yeah. Like they sent some of these people around. So Gottlieb had to go around and talk to all these different shows, and he couldn't have been more condescending, right? Well, which is why I made fun of him for I was like, boy, you're really healthy. I'm like, I love those ads for Kentucky Fried Chicken where the bun is 2 chicken patties, because he was being a condescending ass. So I was kind of joking with him back and forth.
It's chicken.
Right? So I joked that I was like, I was making a joke about how anyone that was forced to interact with us there was not happy about it. And Van Pelt had to do like the welcome speech. We got all in the cafeteria. I remember this now. And he had to address everybody. And I think I tweeted out, I was like, if it's like Scott Van Pelt, blink twice if you're okay. Because he looked like a hostage up there. And apparently Van Pelt saw the tweet. Like someone tweeted it to him. And Van Pelt like came up and said something. He was like, really? He's like, you don't think I want to be here? And I was like, all right, this is awkward. Like he called me out personally for saying he didn't want to be there.
And he was lying about wanting to be there?
Oh, 100%. You think Scott Van Pelt was excited about standing up and addressing like 100 random affiliates out in Bristol? He didn't want to be there. And like they brought us around, like Mike Greenberg couldn't be bothered, but Golick was there. Like, trust me, it was, and Van Pelt wasn't a huge deal at the time. He was still on the come up. We did not get Mike Greenberg and like Dan Patrick. No, we got Doug Gottlieb and a small piece of Scott Van Pelt.
As one of our texters puts it so well, you have a gift.
I know. It's bad.
In your ability to offend people.
I know.
It's otherworldly.
I don't mean to. It happens. And I do feel like Van Pelt was actually really... Gottlieb didn't care because he's an ass.
Yeah.
But Van Pelt cared, and then I felt bad because
he's a good dude.
He's a great dude. And I legitimately felt bad because when he said it to me, like, I felt like I hurt his feelings. I was like, I didn't mean to.
What, you think I don't want to be here? This is my life.
Sorry, Scott.
All right, let's listen to Harrison Butker. Now, I don't know. I haven't heard this. Suk has. Apparently, he gave the commencement speech at Benedictine College, which is out. It's somewhere outside of Kansas City.
I just want everyone to realize before they hear this, he is speaking to a bunch of people, half of which are women, that just spent probably $150,000 to $250,000 over 4 to 5 years at a private college to earn their degree, and this was his message to them.
For the ladies present today, congratulations on an amazing accomplishment. You should be proud of all that you have achieved to this point in your young lives. I want to speak directly to you briefly because I think it is you, the women, who have had the most diabolical lies told to you. How many of you are sitting here now, about to cross this stage, and are thinking about all the promotions and titles you are going to get in your career? Some of you may go on to lead successful careers in the world, but I would venture to guess that the majority of you are most excited about your marriage and the children you will bring into this world. I can tell you that my beautiful wife, Isabel, would be the first to say that her life truly started when she began living her vocation as a wife and as a mother.
Oh my God.
I'm on this stage today and able to be the man I am because I have a wife who leans into her vocation. I'm beyond blessed with the many talents God has given me, but it cannot be overstated that all of my success is made possible because a girl I met in band class back in middle school.
Is he crying?
Yep.
Would convert to the faith, become my wife, and embrace one of the most important titles of all, Homemaker.
What? And they're clapping. What the hell?
Yes,
There's more.
Yeah!
Diabolical lies. Get in the kitchen.
Oh my God.
Uh-huh.
There's more. You want more?
Oh, there's more.
She is the person that knows me best at my core, and it is through our marriage that, Lord willing, we will both attain salvation. I say all of this to you because I have seen it firsthand, how much happier someone can be when they disregard the outside noise and move closer and closer to God's will in their life. Isabel's dream of having a career might not have come true, but if you asked her today if she has any regrets on her decision, she would laugh out loud without hesitation and say, heck no.
Hey, the NFL divorce rate's about 80%. Wonder if she's going to think that when I just love the diabolical lies when you're thinking about your promotions. Ladies, start your real vocation with your false degree and have some babies.
Throughout the COVID fiasco, and how you missed out on so many milestones the rest of us older people have taken for granted. While COVID might have played a large role throughout your formative years, it is not unique. Bad policies and poor leadership have negatively impacted major life issues. Things like abortion, IVF, surrogacy, euthanasia, as well as a growing support for degenerate cultural values in media, all stem from the pervasiveness of disorder. Our own nation is led by a man who publicly and proudly proclaims his Catholic faith, but at the same time is delusional enough to make the sign of the cross during a pro-abortion rally.
He's not.
Wow.
He's
dude.
not
Is he
Catholic
running for
enough.
Senate?
He is down a rabbit hole for sure. And he's a good looking dude, by the way. I just
super handsome.
He's a hot.
yeah, he's a hot. Yeah, I just looked him up.
Hey,
God.
Hey, Sugar Tees, why don't you take that degree and go in there and make me some chicken pot pies?
Listen.
Nice job, you kicker!
Here's what's sad about that. So first of all, I'm from that area, and I can assure you that a lot of people at Benedictine College loved that.
This was great.
That's right up their alley.
You heard the standing ovation at the end of the first 90 seconds.
Yeah, it's very, very conservative out there. But it just shows you, like, when you go to different parts of our country, man, it is. I mean, I just got back from the South. Boy, it is shocking how. What do I want to say?
I don't know.
Well, the race, I'll just keep it to the race element. It is really outward, like the racism.
Sure.
It's actually palpable there. You know?
Yeah.
And I mean, I think it's not as much. It's certainly not as much here, but it's just kind of shock. It's like sometimes it's culture shock to go to other parts of the United States.
It can be a different world.
I had a little culture shock going to the South. There were a couple moments which I can't really even talk about on the air.
Yeah.
That it was like, whoa,
I just
what just happened? But it's just normal there.
Yeah. I just can't get over that. He was there to talk to college graduates, and he was like, "You've been diabolically lied to. Now get into your your real profession."
The other thing about that is, I'll bet you the Benedictine college people signed off on that.
Yeah, they thought it was great.
They're like, "Yeah, this is what we want. This is perfect.
Someone
Great
says-
message for our
Someone
kids."
said, "Where's the full-on anti-gay rant?" Then he went on.
Well, he did go on that.
Did he?
Yes, he railed on gay pride.
Well, it's
Dude, this country.
I didn't even hear that. I just heard I heard the first what we played. That was the stuff I forwarded on to Bob.
Yeah, the headline is. So if you just Google Harrison Butker commencement speech, most of the headlines are talking about him railing against Pride Month.
Yeah, I've got a little bit more. I think this includes the beginning of that.
He has been so vocal in his support for the
Biden
murder
misses.
of innocent babies that I'm sure to many people, it appears that you can be both Catholic and pro-choice. He is not alone. From the man behind the COVID lockdowns to the people pushing dangerous gender ideologies onto the youth of America, they all have a glaring thing in common. They are Catholic. This is an important reminder that being Catholic alone doesn't cut it. These are the sorts of things we are told in polite society to not bring up. You know, the difficult and unpleasant things. But if we are going to be men and women for this time in history, We need to stop pretending that the Church of Nice is a winning proposition. We must always speak and act in charity, but never mistake charity for cowardice.
Boy, he sounds like he's
Well, I
a lot
tell ya,
of. Sounds like he's a lot of fun at parties.
I feel like certainly Travis Kelce
Yeah.
and maybe Patrick Mahomes. I don't know. This is going to be interesting. I want to see those guys
walking in.
What?
When they walk into the locker room.
Yeah, dude. First of all, he's their effing kicker.
Yep.
But second, I don't think those guys think that way, and they're much more high profile and also seem to be willing to say stuff.
Sure.
Like, I wonder if they'll take him down a peg.
Pat Mahomes doubles down and is like, "That's right. I like my dame in the kitchen too, Harrison. It's about time you put those uppity women in their place, and those damn Catholics and their love of Jesus. It's not enough." Man, oh man.
And by the way,
I was not prepared for that today when I heard that.
Was Biden the COVID lockdown guy?
No, that was the other guy, but just saying.
Well, I guess we'll just ignore that part.
Yeah, forget the fact he said a president
Yeah.
who was responsible for the lockdown who wasn't in office.
Who wasn't in office when that happened. Your guy was.
And I swear he almost said responsible for the disease. He paused, he hiccuped, and then said lockdowns.
I will root so effing hard for the Chiefs kicker to miss every kick.
Yes.
He's a good kicker, too.
He is.
But
well, you know
that's
why?
Unbelievable.
It's because he hasn't been told the diabolical lies.
And yet totally believable.
You and your working wife, Rob. I'm calling Danielle
my
right now.
My wife is a badass.
And her double degree. You've been diabolically lying to her for years.
She'd run circles around that douche. Butker.
Please. Master's degree and a real career. Unbelievable. I bet she's really unhappy. She'd be more happy if she was just at home taking care of you.
Well, I've told her that many times, but
taking care of your every women need.
Caddying for me. Come on, honey, we're heading to Langdon.
Let's go. Let's
Make sure you throw my 3-wood in.
Let's go. Ah, good times.
Good times.
Good
All
times.
right, more fun with sports audio next on The Fan.
It's time for a Ducks Report, the inside story on Oregon athletics. Brought to you by Mods PDX. The future of building is here.
Yes, as I reported in the Hot 5 at 5, which Buck clearly did not listen to.
Oh, I listen. There's just not a lot of Ducks news out there these days.
Oh, okay. So he wants me to double up on the Ducks golf regional scores. So they're T8 going into the final day. They need to climb to the top 5 to make the NCAA championships.
8 shots back. It's a
Okay, I'm going to save the last little bit of fun with sports audio for tomorrow, so we'll have some more tomorrow. But I am going to play this Oklahoma City guy real quick.
Okay.
Well, he's not from Oklahoma City, but he's the guy we told you about last week. He bet $100 parlay on the Rangers to win the World Series, the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl, and Oklahoma City to win the NBA playoffs.
Yeah, and obviously a couple of those have come true, and he needs the Oklahoma City to win the NBA title, and he gets like what, 1.7 mil?
$1.7 million. Now, at the beginning of the Oklahoma City Dallas series, he was offered $75,000 to cash it out.
Yeah.
So again, he only paid $100 for the ticket. He could instantly take $75,000 and walk away, thinking, well, maybe Oklahoma City will beat Dallas and then I'll get a better number. Oklahoma City won game 1, but lost games 2 and 3. And then I don't know if you saw last night,
They were
dead.
Yep.
And they came back and won. So now Oklahoma City Dallas, the series is tied at 2. And here is an update from the parlay bettor.
All right, guys. This is it. Last time. One hell of a ride. I got to go to a playoff game in OKC, and one of hell of an up and down here with the cash outs. Started at 11,000, got all the way up to 100,000, dropped all the way back down to 30,000, and right now we're at 80. And I said last night, I said if we win this game and they offer at least 80, I'm walking. Well, they're offering 80, and I don't think I can take any more. I want to keep going, but I'm a single dad, and the money would be wonderful. So I want you guys to see it happen. So here's your 80,960. Here we go, baby.
So he's cashing out on
Sure?
DraftKings.
Yes.
Are you sure?
Cash out, baby. There we go.
He did it. 80 G's.
80 G's. So, I mean,
it sounds like it was giving him a coronary.
Yeah. And at the most, he said it was up to, like I said, I think it was up to 100. So,
yeah. They do host game 5.
Yeah, I know.
Well, the thing is, he said it dropped back down to like 11 or something like that, and that may have been when they were trailing 2-1. And so the fact that it got even and went back up, he feels like he's got to take it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought he said 11 to 100 and then back down to 30.
Oh, so maybe it was 30 after that one.
I think they were down, when they were down 2-1, it was probably 30.
Yeah.
And then he's like, damn it. And then they pull that game out. Because I wonder what it would be if they had lost that game last night.
I'm guessing
less than 30,
very
15.
little. Yeah. If they go down 3-1.
Yeah, it's like 10 G's maybe?
If that. I mean, that thing is...
That dude...
That thing is dead in the water.
He saved tens of thousands of dollars by them winning last night.
Well, and he saved tens of thousands of dollars because the Mavericks can't hit a free throw. I think they, went 12 of 23 and lost by 4 or 5? I mean, think about that. Just free throws. And you want to talk about sweating out a game? His pucker factor...
God.
Had to just be at 1,000 when they were down double digits.
That game almost killed him.
Yes.
So he's like, screw it, I'm out. Give me 80.
80 G's.
Off a $100 bet?
You don't even care that you left 20 on the table at one point. You're like, whatever.
Dude, you turned 100 into 80,000.
Exactly.
Good job.
Shut up, take it, and go away.
All right, the club is next. Yet another reason why we can't have nice things. That'll kick it off when we return on The Fan.
Aloha, Portland sports fans. It's Marcus from the 808. Rah.
Good
I came
job.
hard today. I'm coming hard.
Yep.
We think.
Here's the situation.
He's gonna go get him one of those Milwaukee butter hogs.
Ooh.
Isachi. Okay.
Folks,
Let's get serious here.
It's the club, right? Now we have to.
Well,
Lock in, boys.
Locked, cocked, ready to rocked.
Locked, cocked, ready to rock.
I can talk about the weird Victorian doll hooker that I saw today.
Oh, I know her. That's Angela.
I don't know if I've ever seen that. I assumed she was a streetwalker, but I don't really know.
Where was she?
I told you there's that little corridor that I ride my bike through.
I know. I'm teeing you up to tell the listeners, not just me.
There's a little corridor that it's like a 3-block stretch that I have to ride through. I don't have to. I choose to ride through because it's how I ride to get to my gym, and it's the closest path. And I could go around it, by just, it would take me a couple extra minutes to go around it, but you never know what you're going to see when you ride through that little corridor. And so I find myself being drawn to it. It was like, that was where I found the homeless guy that was willing to sell me the stolen bike, amongst other wonderful things that I see there. And today as I was driving by, and not on the main road there, because it's like, there's 4th Plain is the main road in Vancouver, and it's right off that. This was about at the beginning of the 3-block stretch of, cheap apartments, homeless camps, random drug users, trash, just, unleashed pit bulls. It's a very interesting little stretch. There was a gal.
Seriously? Unleashed pit bulls?
Oh, yeah. That's the only one, you got to keep. And by the way, when you go through that area, you keep your head on a swivel.
Dude.
Because you never know what you're going to see. At any given time, S can go down, and people know exactly this area. It's right by where the Vancouver Mall is, the old movie theater, the Barnes and Noble. There's a bus stop there. It's wonderful. And there was a gal today at the beginning of that, and the best way I can describe it, she was dressed up like a Victorian doll. You know what I'm talking about? Where they have like a lacy frou-frou dress, and then knee-high stockings with ribbons on them, and then she was wearing a bonnet, like a Little House on the Prairie bonnet, and she was just standing kind of in the middle of the road, twirling her skirt, kind of just going back and forth, just side to side, no one around.
Hello there.
Not on the sidewalk
She
or
was
anything.
wasted. She was wasted, dude.
She was just out there kind of twirling. And as I rode by, I thought to myself, what? And then I was like, well, clearly, that's got to be a, I figured a lady, and I was going to say a lady of the evening, but in this case, a lady of about 10:30 in the morning. But I don't know because, she wasn't around the other randos. I would think if she was a lady of the afternoon, she would have been in the midst of that, or do you have to travel to her? I had so much questions. I kind of wanted to stop and be like, hey, what you got going on there?
That I think she was probably just very Portlandy and wasted.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you see that stuff in Portland all the time. But it got me thinking that I wonder, are there role-playing hookers? You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure there are.
Well, I mean that present that in order to get you to buy their services. You know,
Yeah.
are there hookers that just parade around as witches for those dudes who are into?
Interesting.
You know what I mean?
We're hey, look, there's slutty Wonder Woman. Let's go for that.
Hey, where's that at?
Yeah.
What?
Or whatever. I mean, what would be the?
I think the goth thing, the witch, would be intriguing.
What would be the number one role play?
Naughty school teacher?
Hooker. Oh, there you go.
Right?
Yeah,
or school girl, I suppose.
Yeah.
It's just
Unfortunately, that would probably be number one.
Cheerleader, maybe?
Yeah, cheerleader.
Where does weird Victorian methed out doll fall on that list? I've never seen that before. I don't know. And I was kind of intrigued to see if she was going to be there when I came back. And I did ride by again to see, but she was nowhere to be found.
And by the way, that was probably a dude. I'm just saying.
I'll tell you what, he or they had a nice little side to side action going. There was some There was some rhythm there.
That's the heroin.
Yeah, and I thought it was weird that it was more in the middle of the road. Like,
also the heroin.
Yeah. I would have thought that maybe that would have been more of a sidewalk sort of activity, but no, it was more street. Kind of had to veer off to the left. We did make some good eye contact as I rode by, though, which was interesting. And I even thought to myself, because every time I have to make the decision to ride through that little pocket or go around it, and sometimes I do go around, but more often than not, I ride right through the belly of the beast because I'm always like, I never know what I'm going to see. And today did not disappoint. As I rode by, I had a smile on my face, and I was like, exactly.
Watchdogs over the Metropolitan.
It's like, this is why I choose to ride through that section. Because where else am I going to see possibly a man, possibly a woman, I don't know, at 10:30 on a random Tuesday doing some little weird Victorian doll chubby checker twist thing?
What about a nurse? Like a bunch of hookers dressed up as nurses?
Yeah, I
like,
would think the nurse would work.
I mean, let's say business is slow and you're a lady of the evening.
Yeah.
Why not get out there in some
Yeah,
role play get up?
Yeah. Now, I don't know if you've noted, like, if you spend much time on this side of the city, but I'll go down 82nd a bit coming from.
I'm never over there.
Yeah, so that's where like my jiu-jitsu gym is, and so sometimes you have to go the back roads because the freeways suck coming over here. And I will say that there has been a massive uptick on 82nd Avenue of the ladies out walking. I didn't know that was still a thing.
You didn't?
I thought it all moved to the internet now.
Oh.
But
well.
they're out there, and they are not in like cosplay. They're just in next to nothing. A lot of fishnet.
Yeah.
A lot of
traditional.
Yeah, traditional. Yeah. And I'm with you. Maybe next time we pull over and be like, ladies, have you considered maybe a different outfit? I know the fishnet see-through thing has been working for a while, but have we thought about the nurse? Have we thought about the Victorian doll twirl?
I don't know. Seems to me like it would be a good bit. Don't get me wrong. I like the tatted up whore too. Get you some clients.
I don't know. And that's the thing is, did Victorian twirler gal or guy, were they not there when I rode back through because the twirl worked and some lucky person strolled by and
quite possible
away you went.
Tell you what, if I were a stripper, I would do so many bits. People would come from all around, not to see my show.
Yeah.
But because that would be average at best.
Sure.
But to see
the presentation.
Yeah. What did I dressed up? What I dressed up as this night?
You'd be like Kiss of the rock and roll world. The music is but the presentation.
That's right.
I got to start wearing like a GoPro camera on my helmet and document that stretch. Because there's always something interesting. I've never once ridden by there where I haven't seen something where I'm like, wow.
You could have like a regional viral IG account. It's like Riding with Souk. And whatever happens around Portland, Vancouver area, metropolitan, I mean, yeah.
Their stuff. And it's so weird because it's not a bad area. Like, it's really not. It's just, there's like a school there and you're riding through normal neighborhoods and you make a right and there's a couple apartment complexes and just this weird corridor where, I don't know, it's like a vortex of whatever. My guess is the vortex of meth. But it's funny how it just congregates into one little area. And then as soon as you get past it, you're like, you're just, amongst the regular society.
Pornhub says the most popular street worker would be the hot stepmom. But I don't know how you
dress up as that.
Yeah, I don't know how all that works. Isn't the hot stepmom just like an older busty lady, like isn't that kind of the same thing as like the school teacher thing?
Yeah. Maybe a pantsuit.
Oh, there you go.
Or something.
Nice sensible pantsuit.
Some glasses.
Maybe with like a TV tray, like they're serving you dinner, whatever. You have to have some sort of motherly role. I don't know how you permeate that out there to the people. Seems more like a conversation thing that you have to have.
Yeah, somebody said it's actually been a downturn. You should have seen 82nd post-lockdown.
Really?
That's from Nate Cat. Nate Cat.
Yeah, well, I've just noticed recently as I'm driving down there, I'm like, wow, there's quite a few. And again, this is probably my my naive nature, I always thought that, again, that's an evening thing, right? But they're really
Not
out.
always.
No, they're out there quite a bit in the afternoon.
It's like Uber.
Yeah.
Work whenever you want.
Work whenever you want. Because when I'm coming down 82nd, it's always like at, 1:30. And I would think that isn't necessarily a prime time thing, but maybe like a late lunch.
Yeah.
Germany's a great city.
You never know who's poking around needing a little.
Yeah, I didn't know.
A little, how's your father?
I had no idea.
Could be Robert Kraft. You don't know.
Well, and see, that's the thing. With the massage parlors and the internet, I really thought that the street gals, I thought that was like a phone booths. It had become antiquated,
No,
a thing
I
of the
don't.
past.
I don't know anything about this topic. However, I will spitball and say that could it be that the cheaper whores are on the street, and it costs more to get one to, like online, like.
So you're saying the street's
I don't
more
know.
of the Ross dress for less.
It's the
of
bottom shelf
adult-
of the wine section.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, look,
The cheap stuff's down there.
sometimes you need a $7.99 bottle.
I mean, they
of-
probably don't even have internet to solicit Johns.
Valid point. Yeah, well, then there is something for everyone out there. And someone is pointing out the style that I was talking about. It's called the Lolita dress.
Lolita.
So if you look up Lolita dress, that is like I didn't know how to say it other than like Victorian, but yeah, I guess it's a whole thing. Yeah, the Lolita dress.
Oh, okay.
The bonnet and the whole thing. Saw that today. Wasn't prepared for it.
Pretty hot.
Not really. It really wasn't.
Well, it depends on who's wearing it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, up
the,
next.
The twirl, though, I give credit to the twirl. It was a nice twirl.
I'm not sure what they thought was going to happen, but what they thought was going to happen did not happen.
Okay.
And I am speaking of art. A very new age exhibit.
I'm intrigued.
And it went wildly wrong.
I love when art goes wrong.
Because, well, humans are humans.
Yeah.
That's next on The Fan.
The home of Dirt and Spray.
I'm Dirt. There's a communication error here. Well, what's the big deal? It doesn't matter. Who cares if the message is on the same board?
as you hung up that you don't know the name.
It's not an important detail, but it pisses me off. So anyway, freaking bitch. It's this big metal-looking wheel. It's huge, right?
What do I Google? Manhattan metal wheel?
They're calling it they're saying it's 3.5 tons. It's a portal. So it's part interactive sculpture and part webcam. They put another one in Dublin. And the idea is you walk by it, and at any given time, you can see what is going on in Dublin, and they can see what is going on in Manhattan.
That makes sense. And by the way, can I say I actually think, in theory, I know this went terribly wrong, otherwise we wouldn't be talking about it. I kind of think that's cool.
Yeah, I saw some of these videos of what went wrong.
Like if you
from both sides.
If you told me, again, my little corridor that I ride down, if you told me that there was a different corridor where there was a big metal portal, and when I rode by, I got to see what was happening in a different part of the world, I would 100% ride by that every day. I'm guessing, though, that people started doing bits.
It has not gone well. Now, I'm with you. I think that is actually a very cool idea. As a matter of fact, one story I was reading was a guy who lives in Los Angeles, and his sister lives in Dublin, and he went up to New York to see her.
Yeah, okay.
So he didn't want to go all the way to Dublin, so he went halfway to Dublin.
Might I interest you in FaceTime?
Yeah, right.
I know,
but he went there.
It's kind of a cool...
It's a cool novelty.
What is it, like the Doctor Strange, right? In the MCU, the Marvel, they do that. You open the portal, or Rick and Morty, or whatever you're into. I think that's kind of a cool concept. My guess is that someone was hanging dong.
Well, as they were meeting, some guy takes out his phone and goes right up to the camera, and he holds up a picture of a swastika.
Oh,
that's not the one I saw.
No,
there are multiple.
Yeah.
Believe me, I'm just getting started.
I assume this just went penis. I wasn't prepared for swastika.
Well, okay, so they're saying where they put it in Dublin, I guess it's way worse on the Irish side, because where they put it in Dublin is right around an area where there's a lot of drugs, a lot of homeless people, and there are a lot of clubs and bars, and when they get out, it's basically become a bit. They're all housed, and they just do stupid stuff on there.
Well, again, I think this put it down in downtown Vancouver where, and I think that's where the most interesting things happen. I think that makes the portal even better. Like, would it be fun to put the portal like in some nice neighborhood in Lake Oswego? No. Put it behind Delta Park and see what happens.
So another woman, this was the first problem, and this has been caught on video, but she was in Dublin, all drunk, and pulled down her pants and started twerking.
Yeah, I see that.
For the camera. And you can see everybody in New York just standing there, arms crossed, looking at her, watching her. So that's like a little mini show, I guess. Another guy...
We're taking it back to the old days when Times Square was cool.
Another guy just did the full moon, saggy balls and everything. And then the worst one is somebody on the Dublin side pulled up a picture of the Twin Towers on their phone smoking.
On 9/11.
On 9/11 and put it up to the camera.
Well, that's...
God, man.
But I saw America respond with kindness because there was a gal who showed her very nice up tops to the group in Ireland.
Well, that's kind of what I was thinking, too, is that we could share, cross-continental nudity. Because who wouldn't have their day cheered up a little bit by some nice New York up tops? Or some lovely, some Galway up tops. The fields of Athenrine out there, and you're seeing some nice redheaded gal, and it puts you in a good mood.
So those are called Uline. The brand is Uline. And they're stanchions, and most of the ones we see are black crowd control stanchions. That's what they're called.
Okay.
So now that you know that.
With
retractable belts.
Okay, the belts.
That's what they are. They're belts.
Still
and they're
a mouthful.
retractable because you can pull them out of the thing and then, let somebody walk through and then close it off again.
Yeah.
So Uline black crowd control posts with retractable belts.
Yeah, I'm looking here at all the different things that are on this portal. And some of them are just like flash mob dance scenes.
Some of it's cool.
Yeah, some of it's cool. That we got like we love Dublin signs, hello from New York. Like, again, this is a cool idea that's ruined by people. This is like when remember with the hitchhiking robot with like someone put out a robot and he was going to hitchhike it across the country and it made it like 2 days and then someone just beat the hell out of it and trashed it?
No.
You don't remember that?
Not at all.
Yeah, someone, I think it started in New York, and someone had a little robot, and the idea was that the robot could do basic things and it could speak, and it had a little robot thumb, and it was going to hitchhike from New York to California on the kindness of strangers, and it was going to be like this, we can all rally around this. And it got picked up a couple times, and it was going great, and then some people picked it up and destroyed it. Committed a hate crime against the robot.
What is the matter with people?
Well, the same people that are holding up swastikas in the burning towers. You said it. This is why we can't have nice things.
So the Manhattan portal is scheduled to remain in place until November. Dublin, it says the New York and Dublin portals are the third and fourth exhibits to be set up. The first matching pair went live in May of 2021, connecting the European cities of Vilnius. Vilnius. Where is Vilnius?
It's either in Latvia or Lithuania.
Oh, yeah, Lithuania. Yeah, the cities of Vilnius and Lublin, Poland.
See, again,
Vilnius.
I'm not saying I would ever seek this out, but if I was walking in a city and I knew there were portals that were showing me random towns in Poland or Romania or wherever, I would 100% go out of my way a block or two to go see what's going on in there.
It's kind of like a live chat roulette.
Exactly.
I would too. I think
right?
it's cool.
And I think, weren't they doing this once on, I think they were doing this on Snapchat where like you randomly selected people, but then we had to shut it down too because everyone was doing nudes.
Yeah, everyone was pulling the pork.
Yeah. It was like this thing where like, you can just randomly get with someone to chat, and it just turned out it was a bunch of creepy dudes just whacking it around.
I've never seen so much dong in my life.
You can't have nice things.
Well, I guess
we destroyed the public. The public is terrible in general. We just can't be trusted with anything. We're just a bunch of monkeys throwing poo out there. We are. We're no better than the animals. None. In fact, I actually think we're much worse.
But I guess if you walked up on that thing, you would want something fun to happen.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, is it interesting if you just walk up and other people are waving hello?
Right.
Well, I don't know. It'd be kind of cool if I got there and someone from the other side of the world, like, I think it'd be interesting if it was a random house in Mongolia. I'd be interested in that. It's like, hey, what's happening there? Like, it just jumped around. You never knew what the portal was. You'd be like, hey, like, it would be less interesting if I knew it was Dublin.
You're saying you walk up to it and it says, this house is in Mongolia.
Yes.
You are looking live.
Yes.
At, I don't know.
That would be kind of cool if they
And then it just
randomly
rotated.
populated different cities.
Yeah.
If you had them in like 20, and maybe even motion detectors. If someone's in front of that one, switch over to that one.
Yeah. That would be a better idea.
Yes.
Why didn't they consult us?
Look at us.
We're artists.
By the
Like
way,
chili tea.
Yeah, someone was texting that they thought that hitchhiking robot met its end in Philadelphia, and indeed it did. It made its way across several countries safely, including
And it got to Philly, that's
Philly.
when. God.
Yeah.
Freaking Philly.
There were two Canadian professors. They built the robot as an artwork and social robotics experiment. It successfully went across Canada, Germany, and the Netherlands with no problems. And then it lasted 2 weeks in the United States. Hitchbot made its way from Boston to New York, took some photos in Times Square, and then it went to Philadelphia and didn't go well. This is what happened to Hitchbot. It's kind of disturbing. Look, they murdered Hitchbot.
They sure did. His little legs laying there.
Right? It went across 3 countries.
Do you have little boots on?
Yeah, little rubber boots on.
Weird.
Yeah, they found the robot on the steps of the Philadelphia Art Museum.
Someone at the art museum?
At least that's where they found it.
Like, wouldn't that be the one place you could go in Philly to get some culture?
Apparently not.
In the Liberty Bell?
Yeah, they say that it was the last known time someone would interact with it. Was at the Philadelphia Art Museum, and then it met its demise.
I have a question about Miss USA.
And by the way, the person that did it was in a football jersey.
And we'll get to that next. Here's Buck.
This is a DGA Championship Week edition of Primetime.
fulfill her duties. Are you prepared? Like, what? How can you not fulfill your duties? And what are the duties of Miss Teen USA?
Well, the resignation letter of Miss USA said that it was a toxic work environment, that at best is poorly managed and at worst is bullying and harassment.
Okay.
And Miss Teen USA followed in her footsteps. And now, basically, it's just a giant backlash by the Hots over the way everything is run. Which,
all right, so
I'm surprised it's only now.
Yeah, like, did we have the pageants been like?
Well, I mean, Trump ran one.
This is back when he was like, "Oh yeah, I could go back there and in the dressing rooms, I could do whatever the hell I wanted."
Yes,
like
China.
I assumed that those pageants were based on what someone was willing to do. I figured that thing was just ripe with all kinds of sexual harassment and awful things. Like, it's a freaking pageant. Like, we really think that thing's on the up and up? There's like Mario Lopez out there judging people. It's the weird. That is one of the weirdest things we do. Period. Is the idea of a pretty contest, but with somehow we throw in like a weird talent.
Okay, if you want to do just hot people contests, fine, but hot kids contests, not okay. That's really weird.
That's true. I never even thought of it that way.
It is strange.
Like, we're trotting out children to be like, ooh, which one looks the best? That's not okay.
Which one of our kids is the hottest? Like, seriously?
Yeah, but it's under the guise of, oh, it's so much more than just looks.
Oh, it's a performance and it's values.
And these are ambassadors.
Ambassadors of hotness? What?
Well, that's what I'm getting at. It's like, why does this even matter that they stepped down? Who cares?
Someone saying being offered your dream job and seeing what it is so disheartening. Your dream job is being, there's a job that's Miss USA?
Well, that's the thing. Like, I
don't even know
professional hot.
Yes.
I
They
guess.
go around and they shake hands and kiss babies.
Remember when Anna Kournikova retired from tennis to be an awards show presenter? You get to do stuff like that.
Yeah. Remember we had Miss Oregon
Did
on.
Miss Oregon on? Yeah, I think we did that once.
Yeah, and she was awesome and very like they're very what's the word?
Like diplomatic?
Diplomatic, wholesome, presentable, polished women who wave and speak at things.
Yeah.
And
Such as the Americas and such as and the
no, they're not. No, let's not be Harrison Butker here.
That was a real answer.
And
well,
the Iraq.
The Iraq.
It's such as.
Did you say that women need to do more better too? That was a real answer. Like, does anyone take these? I think anyone take these seriously.
But seriously, who misses? Like, if they didn't need Miss USA did not need to resign.
No
one would have known.
And if she didn't,
Just
there'd be
stop-
about 18 people in the entire country who'd be upset about it. Like, that's it.
Right.
And they're the relatives of the people who lost.
Yeah. Just stop doing events as Miss USA, and you're no longer Miss. I mean, like, no one cares.
Yeah.
You're right. We should probably put all of this to bed.
Yes.
All of it.
All of it.
It should all just go away.
Go. Like, again, tomorrow, I got a way to solve the misogyny and all the awfulness with the Miss USA pageant. Just, it's gone. It's gone tomorrow. Thanks for coming. And no one cares. Except for this girl who's apparently its dream was to be Miss USA.
Both of them. Yeah, their mothers spoke out and said it's heartbreaking and devastating.
I got news for you. It was their mother's dream.
The job of their dreams turned out to be a nightmare. And they could no longer live this nightmare.
I feel so bad for them. I do. Just, what are these young hots going to do with their lives now that they can no longer...
They will no longer wear the crown.
Yeah, so they're just going to have to go be hot doing something else? I don't know.
Well, their real career, according to Harrison Butker, is calling motherhood.
That's true. It's true. Go find themselves a kicker and hold on to them and then have a couple babies and you're good to go.
Nice job, you kicker!
I dare you to send her that Benedictine college commencement speech on Twitter. So here, maybe check this out.
Do men have an equivalent of this? Do we?
Miss USA?
Yeah, do we have a Mr. USA? Because if so, I feel like if not, it's kind of sexist.
I don't think we do.
Why not? We can't be hot.
Because no one wants to.
We can't be oiled up.
No, we have Utah's fittest boy or whatever that is.
Yes, my grandfather was indeed named the fittest boy in Utah, where he was groped on stage in a pair of whitey tighties.
I can't believe that's real.
The best part is my grandmother was so proud of it. When she was telling me that story, I was like, oh my God, Grandpa was molested, and Grandma thinks it was great. She couldn't have been any happier. Maybe that's why. Maybe like which is more which is seedier, if you had a female beauty pageant or a young boy pageant? I think the young boy pageant may be worse.
Wait, what? Which is like Miss USA or a little boy pageant?
If you had, so we have girl beauty pageants at all levels.
Well,
There's
yeah.
no male beauty pageants. We all know that the girls' beauty pageants are creepy and it's full of just awful people and predators.
Which is why they step down.
I'm gonna make I'm seriously taking a guess. I think if you had a male version of this, I think it'd be worse.
What would be worse?
The scandal. Like, if you asked which one is a more toxic environment, I think if you had male beauty pageants, I think it'd be worse.
Meaning they would be fondled?
Yes.
And harassed?
There would be worse things as we laugh. I think there would be worse things.
I'm gay, I'm gay, I'm gay.
Why? Why do you think that?
Have
I
you,
don't. I
Have
think
you
there would be
seen
fights.
any all-male organizations that are involved in this? Sea churches, the Scouts? Like, you can't. I think
you can't for anyone, not just men.
I think it's worse for boys.
Yeah, I think he's saying there are more scandals of this variety for boys than for girls, probably.
Boy, I can't. I don't agree with that at all.
Really?
No.
Yeah.
You're saying, yeah, no.
Yes. If you had the pageant culture, but you replaced women with boys and then leading to men, there's way more.
What does that mean? Leading to men? What are you talking about? Like 13-year-old boys?
The little girls, the little girls start out doing the tot pageants, and then they move their way to Miss Teen USA.
Okay, so you're saying the whole thing,
take
from
the whole
circuit,
thing
from little.
And
to,
we start with like little 5-year-old boys up there prancing around in their skivvies, and that leads to Mr. Teen USA and then Mr. USA.
Okay, I got
that. Is worse. That is
that
worse.
Would be worse.
That would be worse
for the contestants than
Yes.
Miss Teen USA.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know.
100% believe that. The creepos would be just appearing out of the bushes. What? Hot boys? What? Yes. It would. It'd be worse.
Well, I think what you're saying is the creeps. There are creeps that would infiltrate both sides.
Yes.
Okay. We know that they infiltrate the
There's
female
very
side.
terrible people on both sides, right? Fine people on both sides. In this case, very awful people.
But I think that the distinction is that the creepiness, which is why I think the women's would be way worse, is the creepiness is somewhat mainstream when it comes to the treatment of women in these organizations. Whereas in the boy / leading to men companies, or whatever they're called, pageants, yes, you will get the super, like the Dahmer creeper guys.
A lot of glasses.
But it would be all guys. Like, it's not women.
No.
So
it would be all men.
Yes. And they would, it would certainly be there, but I don't think it would be as prominent because I just think it's so common and almost normalized, the treatment of young girls and women, that it would be more prevalent.
You proved my point right there why this would be worse. And you didn't even realize that you did it.
Dahmer?
No, not that. You said it. So we can agree that in the female beauty world, right, there is a mix, right, of creepy moms, male judges, right? There's a mixture of people.
Well, I was thinking mostly of men.
But when you said, and if we had male pageant, you goes, it'd be all men. And anytime you have an organization that's made up of all men, guaranteed the worst thing in the world is going to happen.
I'm just saying, I think that all the perps would be men.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
But I think they are on the women's side too. I don't think there's a lot of women that are like. In other words, when they're resigning, they're saying, It's the men and the culture of this
Yes.
organization.
But at least there's women around to try to balance it out. When you remove the females from the equation,
well, you got moms.
You have moms, but when you get
moms of the boys,
when you get all the boys together, nope, it's over. It's all done. Next thing you know, there's going to be campouts for the male beauty pageants. As part of the talent contest, we're all going to go out in the woods and be unsupervised because that's what's going to happen.
All of a sudden, there's a little coaching clinic put on by Jerry Sandusky.
Boom. The scouts are involved. Yeah, it's all bad.
Yeah, they shouldn't do that. Just like they shouldn't do it for women and girls.
No. It's beauty pageant. I just love that we're making. I can't believe that the organizations that run these things are corrupt. Oh, I can't.
Well,
so you're going to tell me that Hollywood has a problem too.
I don't know what we'll do without Miss USA wearing the crown, but they have to find a replacement stat.
My life's not the same.
Or else these bitches behind maintenance. Or else, I don't know, we won't see her.
Yeah. What happens when they're opening a new grocery store and there's no Miss USA to cut the ribbon? I'm assuming that they do that stuff.
Do you think that women that are like that? Do you think that...
Look at you being judgmental.
Yes.
You judgmental bitch.
Do you think that Miss USA, if you win Miss USA, you got to be polished, man.
Yeah.
You are
You're done.
on point.
Sure.
With everything.
Yeah.
Is that an act? Or do you think that there are women who are really like that?
Nah, it's an act.
Because you see all the, you see them and they're just perfect. They say the right thing every time, and they're always so happy and upbeat and inspiring and positive. That can't be just natural.
I don't know, man.
Can it?
Growing up in the church, I saw some people that were like that.
If so,
And I used to think
I tip my cap.
I used to think it was an act, and then and a lot of times it is, but I do think that there is the genuine articles.
There are people that are just like that.
Yeah,
they're
weird.
just cut out to win Miss USA crowns.
Yeah, it's like the Carrie Underwoods of the world.
She like that?
Oh yeah.
She seems bubbly like that.
Yeah, just polished like a pearl. It's a whole thing.
Well,
they would be disgusted by the likes of you and me.
Well, rest in peace, Miss USA and Miss Teen USA.
What?
We will forever miss you, whoever you are.
Coming in 2025, the Mr. Oregon pageant, sponsored by Jody Allen. Mark. Tell you, the men's would be worse. It would.
I don't think it would.
Marcus, darling,
Frank's Little Beauties.
All right, we'll wrap it up next on The Fan. Hey, it's me sticking around for Window Nation, and by me, I mean Isachi. Window Nation is, they are the window experts. Nobody is as big of a window expert as Window Nation. They're professional installation teams. They have over 10 years of experience. And just to give you an idea of how satisfied customers are with their work, 96% customer satisfaction rating. 96% of their windows installed require no follow-up service. So Window Nation is the place you need to go if you need